Okay. So, let's start out with a brand new half of the bag from Red Letter Media. Let us going on. So, this is of Alien Romulus.
Well,
Red Letter Media talks about Alien Romulus.
Did you see the new Alien film? I like Alien.
I did see it. And I don't have any questions anymore. Because I don't care. Finally! The Hollywood grave robbers are at it again. Just when you thought it was safe to go back into space, the Alien franchise has returned. Again! Remember Prometheus? Remember Alien Covenant? Remember being done with all that crap? It's back. Again! It happened again! Remember when Groundhog Day was just a movie? My life is a nightmare. With the long, slimy fingers of studio executive notes, Alien Romulus shows us that your family can't live in good intentions, Marge. Well, it's about time we got half in the bag for half in the bag, Jay.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Oh, look at this. Oh, look at this. It's the Prometheus Disc Companion Guide. This is a prop we made when Prometheus came out on DVD like 26 years ago.
And you know what? We put that up for one of our auctions, but whoever bought it never paid us. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I'm glad we held on to it.
Yeah.
It has now come in handy again all these years later.
Well, that sad amount of money we made from all of our auctions helped build this company from the ground up, Jay.
That's true.
This VCR repair company we have. So today we're here back again. This is like a half bag, VCR repair shop hangout, talk about movies, extravaganza. This
3 movies in the theater in 1 month.
We sat in the same seats.
In the same theater?
Yeah, and
as Borderlands.
It was weird, and literally the poster was wrong.
Oh yeah,
and it's not even a real poster anymore. It's like a digital image, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they didn't bother to change that. So I was like, oh no, the nightmare started all over again.
It was still the poster for Borderlands.
Yeah, it's like, oh God, what happened? Did I buy tickets at the wrong theater? And then we went in there and we're like, oh, okay. Fingers crossed Borderlands doesn't start playing. It's kind of a digital glitch.
Because we're contractually obligated. If we went into that theater and Borderlands was playing, we had to sit there and just watch it again.
Yes.
That's the contract you make when you buy a movie ticket. You can't leave.
Right.
Which is very, very unfortunate sometimes.
What?
But my question is, who's to blame for this film?
Well, this movie was a roller coaster of emotions.
Yes.
Because it started off literally about 30 minutes through. I thought, wow, this is like the best movie I've seen this year. And then that goodwill suddenly turned to, this is the worst movie I've seen this year. And how they... Was it Fede Alvarez?
Fede Alvarez.
How he did that? Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's like a magician.
I know when we talked about Borderlands, I said, I know at this point it's cliche to say a movie feels like it was written by AI. I'm not going to say this movie feels like it was written by AI, but what I will say is it also feels like a cliche to call a film a fan film. And this felt like an Alien fan film with all the worst indulgences of that type of like Rogue One-ish on steroids type movie.
Yeah, well, let me, I have one more statement to make, opening statement before the trial begins.
Okay.
But I just want to, because it's going to get into spoilers, because I want to follow up on your AI point. Because I really didn't feel quite that same way about Borderlands. Borderlands just felt like lame. This, different. So the movie starts off, and I loved it. I thought it was fantastic for the first 30 minutes.
Aesthetically great.
It starts off on Weyland-Yutani mining planet. I think it's around somewhere in the Alien
It's post-aliens, or post-alien, pre-aliens.
Because
Yeah.
Ripley's in the cryotube for 80 years or something. So this takes place 20 years after Alien. I think they say 2 decades.
Mhm.
So we meet characters on this planet. They're the younger generation of generational miners that live on this planet, and they live in such horrible conditions that they are getting, like, I don't know, cancer or diseases and dying because the human body is not made for work in space. And that's kind of the general premise of the background plot.
Yeah.
But we have a girl, Rain, and she has an android buddy named Andy, who's brilliant in the film.
Much like the last 2 Ridley Scott movies, the best character in this movie is the android.
Yeah,
Watch me. I'll do the fingering.
I mean, I don't know who that actor is, but he deserves an Academy Award for portraying an android brilliantly. Lots of subtleties in the performance because he switches back and forth between good android and bad android. Well, this is for simplicity's sake. But so we meet these characters, and there are like actual stakes involved, and I actually care. And they spent a lot of time building that up because the girl wants to go to this planet that's 9 light years away, or I don't know, takes 9 years to get to. And she's worked all of her working hours to get
working
a travel.
credits with Wayland Yutani,
Yeah,
but
she
then
has a
the,
contract.
the evil corporation upped the amount of hours you have to work,
Yeah.
so she can't go to that planet.
It's like indentured servitude. She's under contract to work, and they're just like, oh, we just added 7 more years to your contract because whoops, we have a labor shortage. So it's really like depressing and miserable, and
it feels in world with the earlier Alien movies. It's like, oh, this
Yeah.
is an interesting little pocket that we haven't seen before
Yeah.
of this environment and the like Wayland Yutani Corporation.
yes,
It's like
yes.
genuinely interesting.
Right. It's just like, yeah, a little corner of the galaxy where these people are 56 light years away from Earth, it says at the beginning, something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh God, her parents both died of called space cancer. I don't know. And then there's a little like thing, which there's a voice that comes on the speaker in the beginning. It's like, if you feel sick or have a cough, have a fever, head to the medical bay. And it sounded like Brian Butterfield. So I laughed. And I don't know if that was intentional, but it made me think it sounded just like Brian Butterfield. And I just pictured Brian Butterfield on a microphone. You have a fever.
Call now.
Call now.
The Butterfield Diet Plan. Order it exclusively online at www.
Wayland Yutani.
You told me. And then her android friend is like a older, discontinued model of android who's been damaged, but her father gave a directive to protect her because he was dying, and so it's like, oh, I feel a little something.
Mhm.
And they have this is the plot. They have a plan. There's a space station in orbit, which initially they think is a spaceship.
This is her group of friends plan. All
Yes.
of her
They're all young people.
mush-mouthed British friends.
Yes. This is the movie with the they shot me in the water trailer.
Something in the water.
Every time it's like, oh no, it's this. Something in the water.
Something in the water.
But those characters get our main character tied up.
One of them has a plan to go up to space with some kind of spaceship they have. I don't know, and steal 6 cryopods,
Yes.
and then take their spaceship and fly it for 9 years to their wonderful planet that they want to get to. That's not part of the Wayland Yutani Corporation. It's outside their jurisdiction, and they can see the sun and live a happy life.
All the supporting characters are a little like one-dimensional.
Yeah.
There's not much to them.
they don't give them time.
But they're alien fodder. You kind of go in expecting that. As long as the main character is strong and she starts, interesting enough.
If they didn't spend 180 minutes of schlock at the end, they could have preloaded the movie with characterization.
That's true.
Something in the water. Something in the water. Something in the water. Something in the water.
They shot me in the water.
What do you mean there's something in the water? There's just something in the fucking water.
You said, Jay, this I don't know if your opinion is that Borderlands felt more like it was written by an AI or this.
Borderlands felt AI. This felt fan film.
This to me felt AI, as in you type into an AI and say, make a movie that combines Aliens, Prometheus, Alien Covenant, Alien 3, and Alien or what's it called?
Resurrection.
Resurrection. You combine all those movies into a movie. Make it.
Yeah, and it just kind of does it randomly.
The penal colony nature of the planet, the thing at the end, many things, which I don't want to get into right yet. But yeah, sure, let's do it. Spoilers.
Spoiler.
I'm all fired up today because I actually felt I felt many things because I felt sad.
Well, it was disappointing. I didn't have like super high hopes for this movie. Like the trailers were pretty good. But it's like, oh, another Alien movie. But then when the movie starts, and it's like, oh, this is actually an interesting setup. I like the world that they're building. So I actually started to get invested, and that's why it was disappointing, because after that, it just goes completely off a cliff into a pastiche of every previous Alien movie, sometimes nonsensically, as far as like line callbacks. I guess if we're in spoilers.
Get away from her, you bitch!
For absolutely no reason, Andy the android says, "Get away from her, you bitch." Why did he say that?
What?
Because she said an aliens. Listen,
There's so much more to that line in Aliens. Like, she doesn't just say it. It's not just like a dumb action movie line. She's a mother, and then she becomes a surrogate mother to Newt, and she's saying it to the Queen Alien, who's also a mother. There's like a point behind it.
Ultimate girl fight.
Yeah.
Space. Yeah. Oh no, I get that. Trust me, but
He just says it in this
to
to a random alien.
in defense of the movie, he kind of says it almost. It's almost like fourth wall breaking because he's like, "Get away from her, you bitch." Like he doesn't know why he's saying it. Like the AI told him. I mean, the screenwriter told him to say it. But
If he just said "get away from her," I'd be like, okay, that's an homage, but that's something someone would say.
it was like an outtake. Like the actor said it,
I forgot to cut it out of the
and
movie.
they just left it in there. So yeah, before the movie started, we were talking about like I think it was the Disney convention going on.
Yeah, D23.
So they announced all their movies, and it's just like Toy Story 5. I mean, it's like the same like endless
Lion
like
King prequel.
so we saw the prequel for Lion King. Like here's this backstory of Scar, and I'm just like I said, oh fuck off.
Yeah.
Like I'm just getting so sick of just regurgitating IP. Here's this thing, and like I don't know, just this is what we complain about all the time. And there was like a little moment where I was like, Fede Alvarez did "Don't Breathe" and the Evil Dead reboot. So it's like okay, they brought in a filmmaker, and he's taking his time with this. We're having character, and like all the first like 30 minutes, like they go into that cryo room to steal the fuel for the things. There's the face hugger sequence, and I was like, this is all really good. And then all kind of like was building and was hitting all the beats, and then it happened.
Well, that's why I say who's to blame? Did Fede Alvarez? Because story-wise, this could just be its own little standalone Alien movie. It doesn't need all these callbacks and references and deep fakes of fucking Ian Holm. He's not even the same alien. Like why, or same android? Why does it need to be him? Other than you recognize him, so we get this distracting CGI deep fake.
See, I was happy. Like that was like the point where the movie died. Was when I saw that. I was like, oh god.
How do we kill it, Ash? There's gotta be a way of killing it. How? How do we do it?
That's why I wonder, like, because it's like Peter Cushing in Rogue One. So it's like, oh, is this a Disney decision? Did Fede Alvarez not want this to be so like fan servicey and full of callbacks, and that was just like got kind of pushed on him? I don't know.
And then he even had to say those lines. Like, what's his line from the first one? I'm afraid I'm going to have to deny your request.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I'm afraid I'm going to have to deny your request, bitch. Like, okay, that's the line. Like it was gross. Like it turned into like something I had no idea. I couldn't even fathom that would happen to this movie halfway through. That's the thing is I was so like happy with this movie, and I thought the what's in the trailer, the one girl gets a chest burster, right? The tech person, she gets the chest burster, and I thought, okay, we have a situation where there's an alien on this research science station, and that's it. And I'm like, I'm happy. Everything up until then was great. Let's make this 90 a tight 90 and get out of here and have some cool chase scenes and the android saves the girl because that's what he was programmed to do, and they have emotional ending. And then her and the guy and the other girl who's pregnant get off on the spaceship, and they make their way to their happy planet.
Mhm.
I mean, I know alien movies traditionally don't have happy ending usually, but
Except for Aliens.
yeah, until you get to Alien 3.
That's an important thing to point out is like, yeah, okay, Fede Alvarez, he has his style. He has kind of his own sort of directorial voice. And the original, not including like Alien versus Predator, but those original 4 movies, what's always been interesting to me about them is that they're all basically the same movie. People in a confined space and they have to run away from aliens. But they all have such a distinct like voice behind them, a distinct style, and they're all very, very different from each other. So that was kind of like what I was expecting from this, even though like that's one thing I'll say against the first half is it's almost like slavishly devoted to replicating the style of Ridley Scott in the original movie. But then even when Ridley Scott came back for Prometheus and Alien Covenant, he tried to he took big swings. It didn't completely work, but he tried to turn this franchise into like more of a philosophical thing about like the creation of humankind and bioengineering and lots of big ideas. Doesn't completely work. So then you get to this movie, it's like, okay, new director, new voice. But then it just becomes like a hodgepodge of references and callbacks and
Almost as if an AI scrounged up all these parts and made it into a movie.
even like visual callbacks. Like she's wearing the Reebok shoes, she's holding the big gun. It's like the exact same shot.
Like the yellow warning light, the smoke, and
The first attack of the face huggers I thought was pretty effective
yeah,
because it's like an amped up version of the aliens scene. I always think the face huggers are like creepier than the full blown alien. And there's that scene in Aliens when they're in the room and the sprinklers are going off and it's attacking them. And it's like that, but a little bit bigger, but not in an obnoxious way. So it's like, oh, if he just keeps going with these like tightly executed kind of set pieces.
when the full-grown alien got birthed, I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, and that was kind of different
Yeah,
visually.
yeah, and then it's coming out and it's got those big things on its back and the tail, and I'm like,
Like it's coming out of like a gigantic vagina that's like, mounted to the wall. Continuing the weird sort of like sexual undertones of these movies.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I at this point, I think the whole alien biological process is confusing to me now, like completely, because
I was surprised when they brought Prometheus Black Goo into this. I thought this was going to be just like, this is a prequel, or this is a sequel to Alien. We're going to keep it simple, but they tried to incorporate stuff from everything. I don't know. I was okay with that just because it was like, oh, the Black Goo.
sure. No, but like, yeah, I mean, I guess they fucked around with stuff in the lab, so all rules are out the window. But yeah, like the first one, it's like, the face hugger comes out of an egg. The egg is laid by a queen, and then the face hugger implants the embryo into your chest, and that bursts out, and that's a little baby alien. You know, with the top hat. That thing, I guess, grows up, like sheds its skin a bunch of times and grows up into a big black alien. And the process was very expedited. She gets that face hugger on her, and 15 minutes later, you know.
Yeah.
And then the alien, it's like a full-size alien in like a minute, and then they don't show a queen, but I always thought the queen is the one that grabs people and puts them on the wall and then webs them up there so that its eggs can get you.
Yeah, no, here it's just in there because it's a thing you recognize from Aliens. I was really expecting the way this movie plays out with all the constant irritating callbacks. I was waiting because we have the one pregnant character and then she also gets impregnated by the alien. I was like, this is going to be the origin of the queen from Aliens, isn't it? They didn't do that, thankfully.
No, it just turned into Marilyn Manson. That was frightening. That thing was ugly and creepy.
It just turns into the third act of Alien Resurrection.
But it's the same thing as Alien Resurrection.
But it kind of looks more like the engineers from
It
Prometheus.
does, because it has their DNA. And I thought the premise was kind of like interesting, I guess. Like the Ripley, all of Ripley's efforts were for naught in the beginning of Alien, because I guess the alien survived.
Yeah. Well, that's continuing Ripley's tradition of all of her efforts being for naught.
Yes.
If you include Alien 3, the happy ending of Alien 2 is just eradicated.
Yeah. And
She's just fucked no matter what she does.
Lance, she tried to kill herself. but then they just scooped up a little bit of her DNA and cloned her so
Yeah.
that she could make more. Like, yeah. I mean, it's just like the classic case of concept that starts off really like a simple, effective horror movie, and then the writers have to expand on a mythology or a lore that was not intended to be expanded on. So then you get just like junk, like people not knowing which direction you're going in, just adding shit and taking it away, and then rewriting this and blah 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 blah.
Well, that's what's interesting about this movie is that story-wise, it is pretty simple and self-contained. It's just all the execution and all the like details that they added that muck it up and
Yeah.
make it obnoxious.
Well, and that it just wouldn't end.
Yeah.
It was just like it felt laborious at the end. It's just like, oh no, she's like, where are we on now? We're at this other ship. She's got to climb down to the cargo bay, blah blah blah. And it wasn't even like I don't know, it wasn't even like a surprise that the pregnant girl was gonna have an alien baby.
Yeah.
It was a surprise that the queen stowed away on the drop ship. You
Yes.
know? And
Everything's calm. You think it's over.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we have a fourth act to the
Yeah.
movie now.
And this they tell you because she has the black goo injection thing, and she does it, and then so you're just waiting.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I know it's not over yet. You're gonna do the thing where, and then she even like she gets down in her sleeping shorts.
Mhm.
It's runs around, and
She gets into the
She has to put the
spacesuit
spacesuit
just
on.
like Alia.
it's just like I don't know Fede Alvarez at all. I don't know anything about him. I don't even know what he looks like. I've never heard him speak. All I've seen is those two movies. I'd like to think that as anyone who has any kind of artistic integrity or leanings as a storyteller or an artist would say, do we have to do that?
Yeah.
Can I do this totally different ending, like, and explore these?
I mean, this is a part of the Disney machine now. Fox is Disney,
Yeah.
so I don't know if that's the cause of it or what.
It is.
And it's a shame with this too because production-wise, it's so
Oh
great.
yeah.
All those like old that like 70s future look of the CRT TVs and the set design, like it's all great.
And practical monsters
Yeah,
for the most part
yeah.
that I could tell, lots of slime, lots of good effects. And it made me kind of like the first half was like it was a good horror movie. I was like scary. I was like it made space like frightening. Shots out the window and see just all these like the asteroids going by and just how desolate and like creepy it is and dangerous and it was all super effective until you just felt that meddling and like that android, the synthetic was like ripped in half with a different one and its face is down and it's like and like they go back to it. And I was like, oh, okay, it's just gonna be a synthetic that they talk to, and then
There's no reason for it to be the same model as Ian Holm or whatever, and you put a deep fake Ian Holm face on it where the mouth feels like disconnected from the rest of the
that
head.
didn't look right.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Just
why
have it be a new character.
that movie is like 50 years old. Like no one cares. I mean, people care about the movie, but the only people like certainly over 40 are gonna go, oh, that's Ash from the first Alien movie. Like no one's gonna care who's like under 30. No one's gonna care at all. So why bother? Just
Yeah.
make it a random android.
Right.
And who's in charge of the bio lab?
Get a new interesting actor to play that part. And maybe have an interesting performance from a new android character.
I just get that feeling like, and this is becoming a cliche at this point, where you collapse the script down and the camera pans back and there's a boardroom, 30 people in business suits, and then they say, we need to maximize efficiency for this movie product. When it goes into theaters, it has to remind people of this movie and this movie and this movie and this movie. Our charts and our analytics and biometric data shows that if people remember that, they'll recommend it to a friend because it had the scene in it from Alien where she climbs down a ladder and you see her close up of her Reebok shoes, and then she's trying to hit the button of an elevator while the creature's coming. They'll remember that scene from Alien, and our psychiatric division says that they will recommend.
This is really interesting. I don't know what it's saying about this film that it's gone directly into pastiche mode. which was a classic trope of the millennium. Postmodernism hit its peak then, and maybe that's the message it's trying to make, subtly or unsubtly. That if we don't remember the past, then we'll continue to make the same mistakes into the future, or whatever, you know. Interesting.
You got to put that in. She's got to be in. If she didn't have like as revealing of underwear as Sigourney Weaver,
No.
we have to blur that out for YouTube. It's so revealing, but she just had like little sleeping shorts on, and you know, so it's like that's that scene.
Mhm.
The character is in her most vulnerable. That's what works so much about that. She's barely wearing any clothes.
She's caught off guard.
And
she
she
thinks it's over.
ready to get in bed. She's got her butt crack panties showing, and then she realizes there's an alien just kind of like curled up in the wall like a bug.
It's like dead silence.
Yeah, and it's oh fuck.
Yeah.
Slips into the spacesuit. So we gotta have that scene
Yeah.
because it's iconic. And then just Fede Alvarez going, how much you gonna pay me? I'll do it. You know, it's all gross.
Yeah.
And-
But then I wonder about Ridley Scott too, because he produced this, and I wonder if that was like his idea to incorporate the Prometheus like mutation shit and bring back the engineer. Like, was that his contribution? He's like one of like 15
It's
voices
like an ego thing.
giving notes. Yeah.
I mean, we could be totally wrong, and this could be a 100% Fede Alvarez screenplay. 100%.
I just wanted to pay homage to the entire franchise.
We could be wrong,
Yeah.
but our cynical nature takes over, and our cynical nature is probably correct.
Who knows?
I admire its purity.
I really don't have any super attachment to the Alien franchise.
I think it's like an interesting franchise, just because it's kind of an anomaly.
Yeah.
It doesn't have, I mean, Sigourney Weaver, I guess, is like the lead of the franchise for the first 4 movies. But like I was saying, the fact that they are all like so different from each other makes them unique. Like, I know a lot of people don't like Alien 3. I like it quite a bit, but that is, I know it had a lot of meddling, but it is a David Fincher movie. Like, visually, it's such a great looking movie. And then even Alien Resurrection, they brought in that weird French guy, and every scene between Sigourney Weaver and Winona Ryder looks like they're just about to start making out at any moment. Just this weird, like, sexual undercurrents, and bringing in the half human, half alien baby thing. Weird. It takes swings, weird ideas. And then, like I said, even Prometheus. But then this movie comes along, and it's just like, I don't know. It just becomes mush. It becomes like baby food.
I just hate being exhausted watching a movie. I hate being exhausted, and that's I think that's the takeaway here is so much effort, so many great sets, even great performances. The guy who played the android was so good,
Yeah.
and that idea of him being like almost like a simpleton in the beginning, like a dummy, and he's made fun of, and then him switching by a chip to this like, you know, evil corporate character,
Yeah.
and then
And our main character loses her connection with him, and he's basically the only family she has left. So it's interesting.
yeah, and then that I think that he should have been the main character, but it has to be the Ripley character running around at the end because it has to be that.
Yeah.
You know, you're talking about taking swings, and this is not it. But the opening was like a dead silent, like 2.5 minute long shot in space.
Just dead silence and credits, and all you in space. Everyone can hear you chew nachos with your mouth open.
So Jay would recommend Alien Romulus, and I didn't make one Star Trek reference the whole time.
I was waiting for one. That's fine. I don't think I would. I think I'd rather watch the Ridley Scott like Prometheus and Alien Covenant movies again before this thing. At least they feel like original. They feel like their own thing.
Yeah, that's
This
true.
was just obnoxious.
An AI fan film.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. Like, I don't know, maybe leave at the 30-minute mark like all the critics do. Well, that's shaping up to be a good movie. I've seen enough.
I assume the rest of it's good. I'm gonna go right by review.
Great performances, great scenery, great sets. Wow, what an amazing picture. I've got an appointment with my doctor. A+.
Got 15 other movies to see today.
Yeah.
15 other Disney products to see today.
Maybe that's it.
You only watch the first 30 minutes and they move on to the next Disney product. and then-
Well, or like they're going to review another movie and it's in like the theater next door
yeah.
that starts at like, 30 minutes after this one started. And he's like, okay,
Got it.
The new entry of the Alien franchise by auteur director Fede Alvarez is brilliant, dark, and disturbing. Has many scares and creepy monster effects to wow your senses. A+. Go with the next sticker, Wes. That's what little do they know. It fell off the cliff worse than anything I've ever seen in my entire life. So yeah, I guess we're the suckers. Stayed for the whole thing.
What are next?
Questions will be answered.
I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting. Questions to be answered, Ridley Scott.
Okay, how Ray Gun won the Scam Olympics.
Ray Gun waited so hard that raisins started falling from the sky after her performance. I'm Nicole Arbor, and this is the Arbor Effect. Step aside, Indians. There's a new scammer in town, and her name is Ray Gun. The 36-year-old white chicks meets Tina Fey meets Dina. This is hip-hop parody of a human being who gaslit her way onto the Olympic stage to literally breakdancing. If you didn't know how this kangaroo fuck of a mishap happened, I'm gonna break it down for you. The Olympic Committee in Australia reached out to Dance Sport. Dance Sport is ballroom dancing. They said, don't worry, Olympics, we got this. And they called their homies over at the Breakdance Club. Enter Ray and her clan. I feel a little uncomfortable saying clan, but it feels appropriate here, because what she did seems like an attack straight at the KKK. Instead of running prelims the way they were supposed to, Ray and her husband essentially crowned her greatest breakdancer in Australia, sending her and her man as the coach straight to the Olympics, where we all got to wish the dingo ate that baby. The dingo ate your baby. I wish the dingo ate her. I'll admit, at first I thought she was trolling, and eventually she would break into some real moves. But by the time I realized she was dead serious and just that bad, I realized India had a new hero. She pulled off a scam so big, the whole world was watching. And she got brand deals and a trip to the Olympics for her and her dude, and somehow scammed so hard, the Wokey Wokersons at the Australian Olympic Committee are still backing her. They're trying to convince us that all of our eyeballs were wrong and she's actually very talented. As if she didn't just eye rape the globe in unison, dressed like a cricket player from the 80s. Never mind the telecom scammers. Forget the guys who steal our credit card information at the gas stations. She took home the gold in Scam Olympics. She's not even from there, and India is so proud. I would say the funniest part was watching her pre-Olympic interviews. She'd be sitting there all serious, advocating for the sport as if she's worked her entire life for this chance and this moment. While they show clips of her dancing for like only 2 seconds at a time. I'm not even joking. The clips they would show of her were like 2 seconds long and they put it on a loop. Was that not a red flag for anybody? Nobody bothered to see her dance. They all just went, yes, 36-year-old white woman. the best breakdancer. This checks out. Oh, Australia. You're so cute. But no, I think the funniest part is imagining people from dance sport who recommended her. When ballroom's been trying to get into the Olympics for every years, +5. Bunch of skinny European coaches over there just smoking. This is what we sent. I throw women in air. She spin 5 times. I catch her on my pinky. She just did a kangaroo. That was her plan the whole time, is to sabotage breakdancing. That's funny to me. And no, she wasn't joking. Because her Instagram from years ago is filled with videos of her doing those exact same moves. Which makes me wonder, where are your friends? Where are your friends? She has no friends. Someone had to see her dance and be like, oh, we should try something else. We should try a different thing other than what you just did visually. Ray Gunn whited so hard that raisins started falling from the sky after her performance. She whited so hard she started making Bama Rush TikToks from stage. My bracelet is from David Yurman. My skirt is Love Shack Fancy. And my style is stolen from white 90s VHS tapes. The chin grab fucking got me. What in the cultural appropriation is this? Sometimes I think that white people punish themselves for slavery, and they do so in the form of raisins in random food. This is what I think. There's not a single salad that needs raisins. I guarantee Ray Gunn says the N-word all of the time. Speaking of scammers and cultural appropriation, can we discuss Kamala's black scent for a second? It is hilarious. She goes from speaking eloquently and professionally as you can when every other word is to where's my dogs at? Hope my lace front ain't showing. Shake that ass, ho. Let that coochie breathe. And 2 cackles flat. I'ma be your president. Hands on your knees. Peculiar. That's a lot of work to laugh like that. Try it. Try it right now. Because it has to come from your stomach. So it's very forceful. That's not a real laugh. It's not by accident. Kamala shapeshifts, like Dracula, suddenly turning into a bat. Except it's a shitty politician turning into a really shitty politician. She goes from very sophisticated, very cutesy, very demure to Maury Guest. Faster than Noah Lyles has COVID suddenly at the 50-meter mark when he realizes he's not gonna win the race. Bitch. Shout out to the Canadian men's relay team. Canada who? Canada who? Canada who? Nothing against Team USA, just against that douche. How are you gonna say you're the fastest man alive when the guy who holds the record for being the fastest man alive is in fact still alive? And of course, here comes Dwayne Wade. Oh my god, I love the nail polish that you wore during your run, Lyle. Run, Lyle! Run! He's gonna try and change your gender. Run! Run like Bolt is gonna beat your ass for disrespecting the GOAT. And Donovan Bailey's not too far behind him, because that's factual. That's just factual. Speaking of shit that's hilarious, scientists at Princeton made a rendering of what they believe Adam, as in Adam and Eve, first 2 people on Earth, actually looked like. Because that's exactly what you do when you have students paying $85,000 a year to fund your fuckery. Well, he looks exactly like Sylvester Stallone. He populated the world. What a champ! Also makes sense for why we're all idiots. We're all a bunch of inbred idiots. If you believe in the story of Adam and Eve, we really are. Imagine Love is Blind UK, except it's Adam and Eve. 2 episodes in, I really feel like I've got 2 connections. One with Adam, who I can really see myself settling down and populating the world with. And the snake, because he really does seem like a good guy. Yeah, he might have been hitting on everyone in the garden and being like, sin with me. He might just be trying to make me sin. I think I just need to go with my heart on this one and choose the one everyone's warning me about. He literally introduced himself as a snake, and you're like, maybe. I never watch random reality TV shows if it doesn't teach me something. Selling Sunset is educational. And the girls are hot and the outfits are amazing. But I was working out and I turned on Netflix, and when I tell you I was screaming at my TV because this girl, awkwardly named Nicole, chose the literal devil over a very nice guy. Mind you, the nice guy was in fact homeless. Beggars can't be choosers. You're on a reality show to find your life partner. You know? The Bible freaks me out. Adam and Eve had kids. Those kids had kids. Wait, what? What? Wait, go back a little bit. Ew. What in the Pakistani inbreeding is going on here? No. Not racist. Inbreeding is not discouraged in Pakistan, which is actually leading to a lot of genetic disorders. So maybe it should be discouraged, but it's not currently. Imagine going to your family reunion and trying to pick up. I think I've told this story, but one time in high school, this guy was kind of flirting with me, and I went and told my parents about it. I was like, oh, there's this one guy, he's a crush on me, and I don't know what to do. And they're like, what's his name? And I told them, and it was my cousin. It was my cousin. I hadn't met him since I was a little kid, so I didn't know. He's a good-looking guy. My family is attractive, but I was so disgusted. I didn't even ever want to talk to him again. I was like, you're my cousin. He's like, my parents told me last night too. Your dad called my dad. I'm like, we're both cute. But back to India. In a few podcasts and videos and posts lately, I've been talking a lot about India. And while I don't appreciate new immigrants shitting on the floor in Canada, I have nothing against Indians. In fact, one of my life goals has always been to be in a Bollywood movie. I just want to dance around for no reason with a love story that doesn't make sense, in beautiful outfits and saris and I love it. For my Latino friends, it's almost like a telenova. They're so dramatic. I digress. I recently made a comment on a huge meme page when they were like, how do we fix the housing crisis in Canada? I said, stop importing Indian immigrants. But I mean it. Mama, you can't say that. There must be a lot of inbred people in that comment section because it's basic math. If there's 100 houses open in Canada and you bring in 100,000 people, there's not enough houses for everyone in Canada. I don't just say that as a Canadian. I think it's really shitty of Justin Trudeau to bring in all of these Indian immigrants with the promise of this amazing new life, knowing damn well there's no house for them, and when they get off the plane, you hand them an Uber Eats backpack. Hello, bonjour. Oh, you can't ride a bike? Then you will work at Tim Hortons for less than minimum wage. That was almost like my Celine Dion impression, by the way. Yes, less than minimum wage. The Indian immigrant crisis in Canada is so bad, the UN is investigating Canada for being a breeding ground for modern slavery. When I say stuff, just listen. If we could just establish that I'm always coming from a good place, a funny place, where I will fuck with all of you, but a good place. We'll get along so much easier. Indian immigrants are being used as slave labor in Canada. Mais non, slave, how could this happen? So basically, Justin Trudeau, that dumb fuck, has given a bunch of companies passes for seasonal workers to come in. Those passes are supposed to be for foreign workers coming in for seasonal work, like picking fruit. Canada has a lot of farms, and farmers need the help. Usually workers coming in from Mexico, so even though the wage might not be huge in the Canadian or American economy, when they take that money back home, it's a lot of money in their economy. I love a good deal. But now Justin Trudeau, that shady mother trucker, is giving these passes to shell companies who then go get new Indian immigrants to work for that seasonal worker wage of $5 an hour at Tim Hortons, where they should be making about $15 an hour. So you want to know why every Tim Hortons is staffed by Indians now? It's because they can steal their labor. And the obvious problem with that is they're making $5 an hour, but not leaving Canada. There's kids working at sneaker sweatshops who make more. What? All that to say, pack your duck hearts and ostrich livers because North Korea is opening for tourism this year. I looked up things to do in North Korea, and most of it was get arrested. But other than that, don't I get to sing hymns to the Supreme Leader multiple times a day? Yeah. I'll practice my hymns. I'm gonna salute his photos. This is gonna be great. Run, Lyle! Ray Gun says the N-word all of the time. And now a word from the people so smart they sponsor this program. Sometimes life stinks. You and your best friend find out you're both dating the same guy from Hinge. A new season of Wednesday on Netflix isn't going to be ready till 2025. Or you accidentally threw your phone in the trash. I don't want to go back in. I don't want to.
It still rocks. It still fucking
There's at least
rocks.
3 people that have babies. There's diapers in there. Oh, God. Thank God for Lumi. Got it! Want to know my favorite Lumi product? Definitely the deodorant wipes. Lumi's acidified deodorant wipes are always with me. They're pH balanced to control odor, which I'm gonna need after this. I just want to stuff these up my nose right now. I just keep a pack of the Lumi deodorant wipes with me. In the car, in my purse, anywhere. Because they're pH balanced, you're not just putting some gross scent on you, you're removing everything that causes odor. My poor microphone. So easy to use. You know what's perfect for new customers? It's the Lumi Starter Pack. It comes with a solid deodorant stick, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice. I suggest the deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get 15% off all Lumi products with our exclusive code. That's Arbor, ARBOUR. And if you combine 15% off with the already discounted starter pack, that's 40% off their starter pack. That is a great deal. 40%. Use the code ARBOR. That's ARBOUR for 15% off your first purchase at LumiDeodorant.com. That's code ARBOUR at LumiDeodorant.com. The deodorant wipes are kind of amazing. It doesn't just feel like you're putting a weird fake scent on your body. It actually feels like it's getting what needs to come off of. You know what I mean? Oh, you don't want me to touch you? You don't. I'm gonna touch you. Who knows what's on this hand? What? Wow. My video person just interrupted me to tell me the fact that 23 million Americans believe that chocolate milk comes from brown cows. I asked if that was like a survey of 5 and under year olds. It was not. Merca! Let's go walk on the streets.
Wow. This girl knows what she's doing.
I'm Nicole Arbor, and this is Streetwalkers. Walkers. I touched my titty because we have a compilation today of clips made up from a whole bunch of other episodes all put in together. Just because you guys see an episode and see the questions that we asked doesn't mean that's everything that happened that day. Other things happened, like twerking and get the ass, sexy stuff.
Blow my back in with a long dick. Thank you.
What about you love the D? Love the D, baby. Wait, where you guys from?
Kazakhstan.
Oh my gosh, you fight bears.
No. Russians fight bears.
Russians, not Kazakhstan. My bad, I'm sorry.
Yeah. We actually hunting with an eagle.
You hunt with an eagle.
Uh-huh.
To catch what?
To catch like animals, fox or rabbits, even wolves.
You catch what?
I mean, with the eagles.
Guys from Kazakhstan are so badass, they befriend eagles and make them go hunt for them. America, we got nothing on them.
Yeah.
How did you feel about Borat?
Borat? I think it's like racist joke. Don't you find?
Fuck you, Sacha Baron Cohen. I met some guys from Kazakhstan and they're amazing. They don't even fuck their sisters.
We're gonna hunt you with the eagle.
Did you know that Biden dropped out of the presidential race because he has a mistress?
Oh, for real? He's so old.
That's kind of hilarious.
I mean, all right. Have fun.
Wow, guilty.
Who is she? And is she available for me?
Ratchet. I'm genuinely surprised it works. That's like,
I'm surprised too.
are you gonna vote or no?
I'm not even able to drive, so probably not.
What did you do?
I did 2 DUIs.
Do you care if your president has a side chick?
Yes, I do. I don't give a fuck. I care. I don't care.
Are you the type to have sides as well?
Yeah.
You have your entree and the sides.
Right, I have a side nigga and a main nigga.
Motherfuckers need Jesus. Cat Williams was just saying in his stand-up special, it's time for reparations. How you feel about that?
I'm believing in it. For me.
How much?
It's like 50 a month, each black person. I need 100 bands. We'll take 20 though. 20 each, 30.
How did you negotiate down so fast?
Cause I know it's a lot of us. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be fair. I'm trying to be what they were not. They're not fair, so I'm trying to be fair.
That's really sweet of you.
Yeah, 30 a month. Cause
You went 50, 20, 30. What is your favorite sex position?
Any?
I like to ride it from the top, but I like it from the back too. That's a hard one.
Well, it is a hard one. Some people are saying that twerking is going out of style. What do you think?
Oh no, it's not going out of style. Don't you see what we're doing? It's 2024. Turk's still in. Fuck you talking about?
I feel like, yeah, in a sense, it's the same movement. There's nothing really different. It's just booty thrown around.
Don't you see what we're doing? It's 2024.
Do you get bored by it now?
I mean, yeah, if I want to see twerk, I go to the strip club.
I kind of feel bad for the strippers, because if everybody's twerking, what do they got?
Just their bodies naked, that's it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's why it's going out of style, because now, 2024, damn near everything's explicit, so.
Is twerking over?
For me, it is. It's over for me.
Have you just twerked so much you're just like, your knees can't?
No, I just can't do it. I don't got the butt for it, you know? I can drop it low, though. I can drop it, you know?
That is the white girl spring break drop. What makes a guy get nipple rings? You look like a sexual male fishing lure.
Looks hot, a woman play with it. So I got a man dog too.
What is that?
Dong.
Oh, Lord.
Can I see your thong?
Yeah.
Yeah! Thong! America! Fuck yeah! What's happening? Florida, you're crazy. You just walk around showing that off?
I don't care.
What, you're gonna have to beat the chicks off with a bat.
Yeah, why not? With a whip.
You have a very patriotic penis.
Thank you.
You know what my favorite is, but I don't know how to do it. And they kind of go like this.
Bend your knees. Yep. and then let your butt go back. Kick your butt up. Kick your butt up. Kick your butt up. How's that feel?
I think you're a great person.
I have to say, titties of the day, unfortunately, don't go to me, they go to you. Wonderful. Good for you. You've won. I just love how open people are to twerking when they see a camera. It's just, chef's kiss to all of the booties and titties that made the cut. So much fun. I'm Nicole Arbor, and this was The Arbor Effect. Don't forget to like this video or podcast, leave a comment or a rating. 5 stars. Pew, 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 pew. Act like we're friends and you like me. Duh, because I like you. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast or my channel if you haven't already. And I like your hair. You look very nice today. Thanks for watching. Keep laughing. Be good to each other in real life. And until next time, go team.
What? Michael Clayton, all these films are coming through on the free. Modesty and class are taking over TikTok. Wow, okay.
So as quickly as Brat Summer was ushered in, it was replaced.
Oh no. Anyway, last week.
Because that is basically how social media works, my friend. So if Kamala wants to hop on a new trend per campaign, she better hurry, because the girls and the gals are no longer being chaotic and authentic and a bit messy and like smoking cigs behind the club or whatever the definition of brat was. They are being demure, cutesy, and mindful. Literally, yes, we have gone from brat to demure.
Demure.
And yes, you're probably wondering, this is all because of only one TikTok video. And to be honest, guys, I am all for demure fall. Before we dive into this story, though, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the comment section channel if you have not already, and of course, ring that notification bell so that you never miss one of our comment section episodes. So there is no perfect way to intro what this is. I don't have any context, any pop psychology articles to link to this, because it is a completely random TikTok video that out of nowhere garnered over 15 million views in just like 4 days and completely upended social media and all the trends that have been dominating summer 2024. But basically, to give you guys a few more details, this person hopped on TikTok and just made a video on how to behave in the workplace. And TBH, while this person might not be the messenger that you're expecting, they are spitting facts.
I don't come to work with a green cut crease. I don't look like a clown when I go to work. I don't do too much. I'm very mindful while I'm at work. See how I look very presentable? The way I came to the interview is the way I go to the job. A lot of you girls go to the interview looking like Marge Simpson and go to the job looking like Patty and Selma. Not demure.
Not demure. If you're wondering what is going through Gen Z's head 24/7 as of this week, it's demure. Demure, not demure. It's honestly like a fever dream. Being Gen Z, probably being Gen Alpha even more so, it's just like an onslaught of words 24/7. I can't even try. That's just how my brain feels. Anyway.
You see my shirt? Only a little chichi out, not my chocho. Be mindful of why they hired you.
Like, none of that is wrong. That is all so spot on. Don't be showing cleavage at work. I love the part about remember why they hired you. You know, the way that you showed up to the interview is how you should show up to work. Be presentable, be demure, be mindful. Like, is this just rebranding modest is hottest? Because I'm all for it. This is fabulous. Like, nothing here was incorrect. You know, do not act like a hoe at work. Remember why they hired you. Mindful, classy, all of that stuff. Those are absolutely messages that people need to hear. And you know what, guys? They heard them, because that one video has reached over 17 million people as of this morning. And the comments have been so funny. This person said, very presentable, very demure, very modest, very mindful. Somebody else said, I got hired straight out of rehab, but I try to be as demure and mindful now that I'm not 2 steps away from homelessness, which is amazing. Another person said, I was sobbing before work once and I stopped. So I was like, not very demure of me. What have you done to me, LMAO? I mean, look at that. Just inspiring the masses one video at a time. Gotta be demure. Gotta take the high road, put on a brave face, even when you don't want to show up to work. Smile, engage in pleasantries. And all of this is so ironic because only a few years ago, if you had said all of this to a woman, like cover yourself up, smile, be nice, be demure, be mindful, you would have been labeled as misogynist. This is basically like, hey, smile more, you'll look prettier. That would have gotten you canceled in 2016. But hey, it's 2024. Maybe the gals are ready to hear it, and maybe they like hearing it from a girl. Instead, even the men are ready to receive this message. Dennis commented and said, I said this at work today. I'm 55 and work at a door factory. Very demure at work, very mindful. But guys, what I love about this is that now it's gone even further than just being demure at work. This creator, whose name is Jules, was traveling the other day and gave everyone a breakdown on how to be demure on planes, and it is so needed. As somebody who travels constantly, the masses need to hear this message.
You see how I am when the plane lands? I don't get up immediately. I don't rush. I don't do an applause when we land. I close my window. I'm very mindful. Not mindful. Me? Very demure, very cutesy.
And it's so bold to be filming this in public. Like, see that person standing next to me? Not mindful, not demure, not cutesy. Jules also did videos standing in line in security, boarding the plane. You see, I'm not rushing, I'm not pushing. Is this the hero that our society needs? Is this how we are finally bringing class back to America? I know that Biden said he was going to bring class back to America. We all saw how that worked out. His son was allegedly doing coke in the White House, but Jules is bringing it back. Somebody said, as a flight attendant, please keep promoting the demure lifestyle. Another person said, very mindful, very demure. I don't take the armrest that isn't mine. Can it be demure to stare down the people who are standing up in seat 56C? That's probably not demure and cutesy, but also maybe it's helping other people be more demure and cutesy, so maybe it would be approved. But guys, it even goes further than airplane etiquette. Jules is now teaching fans how to thank and be nice to hospitality workers. Like, this is how far our society has fallen, that apparently people have forgotten how to do that. Like, come on, this is fabulous.
You see how I thank the hotel staff at the hotel I stay at for being mindful and demure? I do a nice 6 donuts. For you guys. This is for you guys. Girl, they're brand new. I didn't open the box or anything.
Latina.
No, I was like, let me give the Diva something.
That's so sweet. I don't know if I've ever heard of anybody giving like treats to hospitality workers when they leave. I know that people leave tips for the cleaning ladies and that kind of thing, but that's wonderful. Somebody commented and said, your videos are the etiquette class that we need on the internet right now. Seriously. Like, listen, being kind is not hard, but if we need to rebrand this as being demure and cutesy, so be it. Next up, let's just rebrand getting a good night's sleep as being mindful and cutesy, which it actually is, because getting a good night's sleep is the best thing that you can do for yourself. It truly is very mindful, and I get my best sleep on my Dusk Flux Helix mattress. Guys, I literally could talk about this forever. I just got a second Helix mattress. It's genuinely incredible. I've never had a better mattress. It is like I discovered a whole new realm of comfort and rejuvenation. Literally, it is like sinking into a cloud. It is genuinely incredible. All of this is possible because Helix has harnessed years of extensive mattress expertise to offer a truly elevated sleep experience. I'm telling you guys, I own 2 of them. They are so good. If you've not already checked out their Helix Elite collection, you need to. I am telling you, oh my God. This collection includes 6 different mattress models, each tailored for your specific sleep positions and firmness preferences. And if you're nervous about buying a mattress online, you don't have to be, because Helix has you covered with their sleep quiz. This is an innovative feature that matches your body type and your sleep preferences to the perfect mattress, eliminating the need to settle for a mattress designed for somebody else. I promise you will. They also have financing options and flexible payment plans to offer yet truly an amazing deal. It won't any better.
So recently I stopped victimizing myself, and it's crazy how life has opened up since I stopped pretending like I'm like a fucking victim. Like, since I pretend like the world's against me. Bitch,
yes.
Sometimes you're the fucking problem. Anytime anything happened to me or anytime I perceive something, I perceived it as it was like the worst thing that ever happened to me, or like it was only happening to me. Like, other people don't be going through the same shit. Especially like, you know, being trans, being plus size, it was just so easy for me to be like, no, like, brands still want to work with me because, like, I'm big, and brands still, like, want to work with me because I'm trans. Maybe brands still want to work with you because you're messy and you don't post consistent content or quality content most of the time. Maybe that's the reason, babe.
Based, not making everything about your identity and your size. This is fantastic. This literally could heal society and unify us all. Listen to Jules, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Get it together. And you know what's crazy? Ever since I, like, took more responsibility to stop acting like a fucking kid, got a full-time job, got my own apartment, brand deals coming in, started losing weight, started having better skin. Like, when you just say, hey, you know what? Sometimes I'm a piece of shit and I need to fix it, then you can actually fix it. But when you come up on here all the time talking about, like, oh my God, and this happened to me, and then oh my God, like that happened to me, and then oh my God, like, no, and then this brand is a... Girl. The world don't owe you shit.
Also, another thing, even as Jules has been going viral, like, has not stopped working, is promoting people going and getting a job, literally made a video and was like, no, get up, go work, get a job. Your dream's not going to just happen because you want them to. And again, I'm just like, okay, power to you. Keep it coming. But this is so good. And guys, I cannot tell you how viral Jules is going. Like, the moment is hot right now. So hearing this right now in the midst of all of this virality is just epic. Like, say it louder for the folks in the back, because you seriously become unstoppable when you realize that you control the majority of your life. Your life is your fault. You might not be able to have a say in everything that happens to you and the situations that you're born into, but you certainly have control over how you respond to them and move on from them. And that is everything. It makes you freer. It makes you more confident, more powerful. All the good things. Jules is a prime example of that. Sharing it with the people. We all know the society needs to hear it because we live in a cycle of sad victimhood and complaining and baby adults. So please keep sharing that. Somebody said the maturity, the demurity. I love it. Another person said self-reflection is very demure, very mindful, accountability at its finest. Another person said owning your own destiny, very professional, very demure. Like, seriously, guys, demure is literally everywhere. It is in every comment section. I mean, my For You page is just covered in people talking about this. I cannot get it out of my head. I fell asleep last night saying demure. I tried to show these videos to Alex, and he was like, good God, get this out of my face. I do not know what you're talking about. That comes with the territory when you marry a millennial man. Just saying. Anyway, of course, people are now making their own videos. They're doing their own takes on this. They're doing their makeup demurely, eating demurely, and, you know, classily. They're traveling demurely. My favorite one was this girl. She made a video about working a corporate job demurely, and she was like, I don't wait to Slack you until 4:45 on a Friday afternoon asking you to put out some firestorm. That's not demure. I do it midday on a Thursday. She also said, I use exclamation points in my emails to make sure that you know I'm not mad and just show some personality. Cutesy. Like, it was just so fun, very relatable. But guys, this one in particular spoke to me, and I'm sure that you understand why. So the caption reads, all of the social media marketing girlies trying to explain to everyone at their job that demure is the next brat summer, and we all need to hop on this trend on all platforms. Because guys, literally, this was me last night. I think that I gave some of our social media editors a heart attack last night because I was slacking them. Some of them I had never even met before, but I was like, you need to make Trump demure. This is the new brat summer. I was like, I need a cutesy, wholesome, mindful, considerate Trump edit. This is what the people need. Granted, those are already my favorite videos of Trump, like him hugging people and dancing, so this will just be the cherry on top for me. But you just need to get to it before Kamala HQ decides to rebrand her as demure when she's been brat summer for the last 3 months. But come on, you know, she's fooling no one. No one will say that Kamala is cutesy. Sorry, Kamala, we know how you got to the top in politics. Anyway, happy Friday, folks. Don't forget to be demure, cutesy, and mindful today. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Brad.
Republicans are Nazis. You cannot separate yourselves from the bad white people.
Growing up, never thought much about race. It never really seemed to matter that much, at least not to me.
Am I racist?
I would really appreciate it if you
I'm trying to learn. I'm on this journey.
I'm gonna sort this out. I need to go deeper undercover.
They gonna say I'm racist.
Joining us now is Matt, certified DEI expert.
Here's my certification.
What you're doing is you're stretching out of your whiteness. Listen more for you in this field. Is America inherently racist?
The word inherent is challenging there.
I want to rename the George Washington Monument to the George Floyd Monument.
America is racist to its bones.
So inherently.
Yeah, this country is a piece of
White.
folks,
White.
trash, white supremacy, white woman, white boy.
Is there a black person around? What's black person right here? Does he not exist?
Hi, Robin.
Hi, what's your name?
I'm Matt.
It's had to ask who you are because you have to be careful.
I'll never be too careful.
They gonna say you racist.
Buy your tickets now. In theaters September 13th. Rated PG-13.
Yes, yes.
Well, guys,
yes.
I hope you liked that video. Make sure that you like and subscribe to this channel if you have not already. And if you want even more content. So, as many internet sleuths predicted months ago, the death of legendary Friends star Matthew Perry was not innocent. The comedian died late last year, which just sent shockwaves through Hollywood and basically the entire Friends fandom who grew up watching him and spent the last 30 years cheering him on as he battled his addiction and many, many mental health struggles. And his death really shocked the world because based on what everybody saw and what everybody knew, Matthew was clean. He was happy. He had just released his book, which, by the way, is just incredible. And if you've not read it, you absolutely should. But he'd released this book about his life, and he seemed to be at peace with where he was. But behind the scenes, the people who were supposed to be keeping him safe were actually pulling the strings. Before we dive in, though, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the comment section channel if you've not already, and of course, ring that notification bell so that you never miss one of our comment section episodes. All right, so back in the spring, I believe it was, rumors started circulating that LAPD was looking into Matthew's death and that they were suspecting foul play, even though back in October, his death had been called an accidental drowning. But after they found significant amounts of ketamine in his body in the autopsy, and the stories really started not lining up, they started digging. But weirdly, the media brushed all of this off. Like, I remember wanting to do a story about this back in the spring and not being able to find any clear evidence that any of this was happening. Like, it was all just so hush-hush Everything that I saw was basically coming from like Hollywood gossip rumor sites, so I felt like I couldn't really talk about it. But everything that I saw literally 6 months ago is what we're talking about today, which is just so wild. And then last month, House and Habit released this article on her Substack on July 10th, breaking down all of the changing theories. And this started to confirm things for me because she is just always on the cusp of everything. But the article was titled, "Was Matthew Perry Murdered? How the LAPD Finally Caught Up with the Internet Sleuths." Because, of course, there were people online who were speculating this, the day after he died. So it took LAPD long enough to catch up. And this whole article is really interesting, and it weaves together a lot of different parts of his story and the things that have been going on. But the most interesting thing that her author included was a tidbit from a famous YouTube medium who allegedly connected with Matthew Perry's spirit. And I know, woo-woo, it's kind of weird, but just listen to this. So this YouTuber, Bella, believes that Perry was finally starting to get his life together right before he died, which threatened the plans of his alleged handlers who didn't want him to sober up and get it together. Quote, "He had people probably for the last 11 months trying to take him off the planet or out of his body. Quote, they were not going to let him live. Time's up." And now, guys, a month later, all of this has started to happen. Now, over the past 9 months since his death, obviously we've heard from his friends, from his family. His friends' co-stars even said that he seemed happy and very put together the last time that they saw him and that they spoke. His stepfather recently actually just gave a statement and spoke about Matthew's relationship with his mother, saying, quote, "Towards the end of his life, they were closer than I'd seen them for decades, texting each other constantly and sharing things with her that most middle-aged men don't share with their mothers. He was happy, and he said so. And he hadn't said that for a long time, so that is a source of comfort. But also, he didn't get to have his third act. And that is not fair." So what happened? Because based on everything that we knew, he was getting healthy. We didn't have, a whole breakdown of his blood work. You can actually have a breakdown of your blood work thanks to Merrick Health. Now, obviously, you guys know that I'm a huge proponent of taking your health into your own hands, and that my hormones in check is because of them. In immediate danger, they'll send you on your reports and expedited on board. He's been getting regular medical ketamine infusions to help with his addiction and his mental health struggles. And these are the types of infusions that have to be monitored and have to be administered by a doctor. In recent years, this medical form of ketamine has been used to help treat people with addiction. Obviously, they're not really sure of the side effects yet. It's still kind of in an experimental phase, but this has become more commonplace. This was nothing really out of the ordinary. The House and Habit author wrote that his last ketamine therapy appointment was a week and a half before he overdosed. So the LAPD ruled out the possibility that his last appointment caused his death. With the involvement of the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration and the U.S. Postal Inspection Service, the LAPD launched an investigation to find out who was responsible for the fatal batch. Since Matthew allegedly took the drug himself, the dealers who sold him the drug couldn't be charged for murder, but could be charged with involuntary manslaughter if found guilty. Quote, "Intent is going to be the question. They obviously knew what they were doing was wrong by drug dealing. However, did they actively know that by procuring this, it would kill him?" One insider told Page 6. And oh boy, did they find out who, and did they find Ines? So now, fast forward a month from that House and Habit article, and the news breaks yesterday that 5 people have been charged in connection with Matthew Perry's death. Popbase was one of the many X accounts that posted about this yesterday afternoon. They said 5 people have been arrested in connection to Matthew Perry's death, including his assistant and 2 doctors. They are said to be part of a broad underground criminal network that supplied ketamine to Perry and others, and, quote, "took advantage of his addiction issues to enrich themselves," which is just disgusting. Now, I don't know if you guys read his book. It's called Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing. I cannot recommend it more. I could not put it down. But my heart just broke for him reading it. This man had been battling his addiction for decades at that point. And he was writing with such a sense of self-awareness, and he took so much accountability for all of his actions. He knew what he had lost. But also what stood out to me was that he knew how much he had to live for as he got clean. This was not a man that was resigned or had given up. And so now to know that these handlers and the people that were supposed to care for him were the ones that were behind this is just awful. And like I mentioned, guys, what the medium said was pretty damn spot on, no matter what you think about mediums. Now, this is how the news broke. This is from the press conference.
Following Mr. Perry's death in October of last year, law enforcement, my office, and our partners represented on this stage began an in-depth, wide-ranging investigation. That investigation has revealed a broad, underground criminal network responsible for distributing large quantities of ketamine to Mr. Perry and others. This network included a live-in assistant, various go-betweens, 2 medical doctors, and a major source of drug supply known as, quote, the ketamine queen. We charged 5 defendants in this matter. These defendants took advantage of Mr. Perry's addiction issues to enrich themselves.
I mean, it's just awful. Somebody commented and said, if this is true, it's a tragic reminder of how vulnerable people can be exploited by those they trust, especially when dealing with addiction. Another person said, I wish they went after all drug dealers like this. Too many people have their lives taken from them. And a lot of people were saying things like this, and they were saying that this is, such a double standard. We have a multi-tier justice system. They don't care about normal people because the feds never get involved with cases with normal drug overdoses. It's only because Matthew Perry is famous. Of course it is. He's Matthew Perry. However, the upside of this is that hopefully his case, as many famous cases do, can set a precedent for victims who don't get nearly as much airtime. And hopefully by convicting these individuals, they will save the lives of the other people that they were dealing to. Because they're not necessarily charging them with the death of Matthew Perry. They didn't murder him. They just supplied what did. They're arresting them because they are doing illegal activities. And regardless of what celebrity this case is connected to, that is a net positive. Another person commented and said, sadly, behind every major celebrity struggling with a drug addiction is a close circle of enablers, usually medically qualified to get medication, making a fast buck. Hopefully they get the sentence that they deserve. And making a fast buck, guys, is just putting it mildly, because these doctors were charging him $55,000 in cash for these ketamine infusions. And then to make that even worse, law enforcement was able to get a hold of their phone records, and I think that this might be what did them in. One of the doctors texted the other and said, quote, I wonder how much this moron would pay. And then he replied and said, let's find out. These doctors then taught Perry's personal live-in assistant how to give him the infusions, which is just completely out of bounds, completely illegal. And then that assistant used some of Perry's old connections that he used to deal with and do drugs with, I think, to meet the quote-unquote ketamine queen, who then supplied that personal assistant with more drugs that he later gave his boss, which inevitably caused his death. And then on August 7th, this assistant pled guilty to 1 count of conspiracy to distribute ketamine, causing a death. He admitted to repeatedly injecting Perry with ketamine without medical training, including on the day that the actor died, according to prosecutors. It's just awful because this man was so vulnerable and he had nobody there to protect him. And at this point, we don't know whether Matthew knew what was going on, if he wanted this, if he was asking for the drugs, or if he thought what he was doing was genuinely going to help him and help him get over his addiction and his mental health problems. But what we do know, what is a actual fact, is that this was a broken, struggling man, and people that he trusted, medical doctors that he trusted, his live-in assistant, took advantage of his weaknesses so that they could make some fast cash, allegedly. And of course, everything that they were doing in connection with Matthew and their other patients was completely illegal, and that is why they were arrested. I saw a lot of comments being like, Matthew killed himself. You can't arrest other people for, allowing him to do that to himself. No, but what they were doing, even separate from Matthew, was still illegal. What they were doing was despicable. And hopefully, this saves the lives of other vulnerable people in their network. Hey guys, Brett here. For more stories and videos just like that, make sure you subscribe to my show. See you next time. So, as many internet sleuths predicted,
Everything's gone free on YouTube. All the movies is finally coming through. Bit of boys cast.
See if someone else had it in their mouth first, so we don't know. It could have potentially been that. The Toronto Korea. Major media companies like NBC, Politico, and New York Times have written countless articles about how Elon Musk's X is a hub of misinformation, but have been completely silent on the influencer encouraging women to put poo on their face as a form of skincare.
Watched by hundreds of thousands of impressionable women who will sign up for almost anything as long as it's labeled as skincare, including poo on face.
Maybe the New York Times thinks women deserve to have their faces covered in poo, but we at the Boys Cast do not. Your silence is heard and smelled loudly, no pun intended.
Paris Mayor recently quit X, calling it the global sewer. But when it comes to women turning their face into a sewer with their own poo, the Paris Mayor doesn't want to get her hands dirty, no pun intended.
Just because Politico wants X to be a wasteland doesn't mean women's faces have to be a poo wasteland, no pun intended.
Maybe destroying X can be their first priority, but you think this would at least be number 2, no pun intended.
The media says they cared about stopping Cosby, but what about his kids, no pun intended?
They're worried about being second-class citizens on X when they should really be worried about being third class, pun intended.
The boys. The lads. The dudes. The bros.
Canadian discipline.
The dudes. The boys.
Whoa! 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 Now, lots of stuff to get to. We got Trump, Elon, this fight with Rogan, women discovering that not wasting money is a life hack.
Oh, now you're talking.
Jada
Now
Pinkett
you're
Smith's up
singing
to
my
some weird
song.
shit, exactly. But more importantly, right now, there's actually a pretty big mystery going on. Some monkeypox in Toronto. Health officials see sharp rise in cases, and the cases have been increasing since late June and July, following major events and festivals in the city. Now, the Toronto Public Health, they have not been able to figure it out. They're not sure. They know that there was some festivals going on, and something happened.
Can't really pinpoint.
I made a list of some festivals. You tell. We can potentially get to the bottom of it ourselves.
Let's hear.
The Tim Hortons festivals, so possibly.
No, I don't think it's that one.
We don't know what happened. People get a couple of those Timbits, they start going wild.
Timbits,
Potentially
you go
monkeypox
wild.
start. Maybe a lot of sharing Timbits, a lot of sharing donuts.
I think there are a lot of cases of people in ERs with Timbits stuck up their ass.
That's what I'm saying. Those Timbits get in your ass, and issued an ultimatum to Will Smith to start acting like a real man. Now, Will Smith's friendship with Johnny Depp is reportedly causing friction at home with his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith.
Oh, because he was having like a big orgy on a yacht with Johnny Depp.
Will Smith,
I imagine would be the problem.
And by the way,
is that the problem?
Yes.
Was it an orgy though, or was it just two boys?
The boys, the lads, the dudes, the bros, the homies, the dudes.
acts as a hub of misinformation, but have been completely silent on the influencer encouraging women to put poo on their face as a form of skincare.
Watched by hundreds of thousands of impressionable women who will sign up for almost anything as long as it's labeled as skin.
History going on. Some monkeypox in Toronto. Health officials see sharp rise in cases, and the cases have been increasing since late June and July, following major events and festivals in the city. Now, the Toronto Public Health, they have not been able to figure it out. They're not sure. They know that there was some festivals going on, and something happened.
Can't really pinpoint.
I made a list of some festivals. You tell. We can potentially get to the bottom of it ourselves.
Let's hear.
The Tim Hortons Festival. So possibly.
No, I don't think it's that one.
We don't know what happened. People get a couple of those Timbits, they start going wild. Potentially monkeypox start. Maybe a lot of sharing Timbits, a lot of sharing donuts.
I think there were a lot of case people in ERs with Timbits stuck up their ass.
That's what I'm saying. Those Timbits get in your ass, and honestly, if someone else had it in their mouth first, so we don't know. It could have potentially been that. The Toronto Korean Festival? We don't know. This is the thing. You know, we want to leave all the options on the table. There was Pride, wasn't that? Taste of Italy Food Festival?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So potentially the
all they're doing is eating sausages.
Eating sausages, and we know that can lead to some monkeypox.
No more investigation.
Also, salsa on St. Clair happened, so I don't know what was going on.
Those salsa dancers get going, you know.
I'm just saying the salsa dancing.
Or was it the food salsa?
Well, that's actually a good question.
No,
I think it's salsa dancing, and I think they get close to each other.
Yeah.
So it's a mystery right now, and they're trying to get to the bottom of it. The health officials don't want to weigh in on which festival it could be that monkeypox is getting spread at.
It's funny too because they're like putting out a global monkeypox thing now as of today, saying like it's spreading globally or whatever. That was as of like
it's gonna be happening around August.
Well, dude, so I went and I made 2 years ago. I made like a monkeypox contact tracer sketch.
Yeah.
And then I went to go repost it and I looked at the date. Today's August 14th, August 12th, 2022. Literally.
Well, we don't know.
To the day.
Well, again, every year after the salsa on St. Clair.
Totally missed
August is monkeypox season, I guess.
Well,
going forward.
What do you expect if they're gonna have the Tim Hortons Festival? Things are gonna go down.
Yeah, that's everybody knows.
That's what
You think they should be given a monkeypox vaccine with every Timbit purchase or a free Timbit?
They have to do something like
they
that.
have to pair them up somehow.
I mean, the Toronto Korean Festival is going to be doing stuff, and whatever you're up to, it's none of my business. But afterwards,
None of our business.
there are some repercussions. So I think
Sure.
we are going to have to give monkeypox vaccines at the Tim Hortons Festival, the Toronto Korean Festival, Taste of Italy, and the salsa on
And
St. Clair.
it's also on St. Clair. It's especially concerning festival.
Obviously, Pride's going to be fine. It's a family festival, so that's not we don't have to worry about that one.
No monkeypox.
Okay, some of my girls have been really writing songs for Danny.
Okay.
So there's this girl, she tours around, and she's doing pretty good. She writes songs, right?
And kind of like Weird Al.
It's a little Big Al.
Big Al. Big Weird Al.
This one's dedicated to Danny.
I love that call-in response. Eat anyway!
When I feel shame about eating, eat anyway. When I feel shame about my weight, what should I do? Throw it away! So that's dedicated to Danny Polishuk and all the Danny heads out there that are on the bigger side. Danny and his boys. Throw the scale away, take it, put the lighter on, throw it out the window, and then say, bye!
We should go to that, go to the concert, and he's like, go on Ozempic! Just one guy yelling it.
Now, I personally support those people. Some people on the internet have been saying that there's always haters everywhere.
A
So they'll be
lot
like,
of haters.
oh, this is going to be bad for the structural damage
She's not
for the
even fat,
building.
though.
Well, I know
That's the
she had a
funniest
couple
part.
meat
Is
on her bones.
yeah, but it's like I was expecting her to be like 4 bills.
She
If
is
the audience is
a
4
little
bills.
bit doing
She looks
fat
like
face.
she looks like Adele. It looks like Adele now.
I guess it's it's a lot of times that like the most activist black guys are like very light skinned. I think it's one of those where exactly. She's sort of like a fat.
You think she gets off stage and just peels the prosthetic off? She goes, woo!
I think it's a bit of
Thing is boiling. God damn
I
it.
think she's doing numbers at her shows.
Bro,
man.
it sounds like it. It sounds like she's.
And there's, like I said, there's haters on the internet. Some people have said, oh, it's causing loud volumes in the neighborhood every time they tip all the vending machines over. So they,
You think like
tear them down.
she has like like venues they'll do like for the artist they'll like a custom drink kind of thing. Is it just like a double milkshake with a shot of vodka in it kind of thing?
Well, I've heard
Like
that they did bring
mass gainers?
blenders and they blended up fucking Big Macs
Yeah,
and
would
then
you,
they were
would you
pouring
like
on
a
the
mass
crowd.
gainer with vodka?
Well, it's sort of like how how ICP sprays Faygo on the crowd.
Yeah.
They were just spraying straight up Big Mac sauce and things, and that's their right.
High fructose corn syrup, just
They tipped over the food trucks outside, so there has been a little bit of ruckus in the neighborhood.
Okay, yeah.
But at the end of the day, this is a message we want to give people: throw the scale away. What should I do? That's what, throw the scale away.
All right, everybody, put your hot dogs in the air. Waving hot
I
dogs.
don't understand how. You think she told her before? Because it was like 3 call and answers in a row. They know all the words.
Well,
So this person.
that's probably the actual song, and that's she
This
probably
is
said.
yeah, I guess so. I thought this was like a breakdown where she was just getting real with the audience, but you're right. This
Maybe
might be
you
the
missed the
chorus for a
part
big hit.
where she's like, well, when I say, you say throw.
That's what I thought, but it was a long row. People are very on board with this woman, and I as well.
Anything to not go to a gym.
Oh, you know what? You want to talk about gyms?
That was called a little segue there, Ryan. That was not by accident.
I know. And I was just pretending to do it smoothly, but then Danny had to call it out because he loves himself so much.
Right.
This is the thing. You get in Danny's head for positivity, and he wants to be patted on the back.
Especially the
every
body
second.
positivity.
Throw the scale away. You know what? Blink Fitness is going to be throwing their scales away because they're out of fucking business. So there you go. Blink Fitness.
That's what you do.
Blink
Looks like scamming doesn't pay the bills.
Exactly, unless you're in India scamming old people. But Blink Fitness is the biggest piece of shit scam artist company in the history of the world.
Yep.
They won't let you quit.
No.
It's a maze. They go, oh yeah, call here, then call there, then you go in. They go, the guy's not here. The one quitting guy.
Then you gotta go to meet a troll under a bridge and answer 5 skill testing questions.
You do have to, and then they go, they show you 2 people, and they go, one of us is lying, one of us is telling the truth, and if you don't guess right, then it's 5. You have been sentenced to 5 more years of Blink Fitness membership. So their whole scam is it's impossible to quit.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like a monkey paw that you throw in the water and then it shows up in your house again. That's your Blink Fitness. You go, I canceled this in person and I signed all the forms and then it just shows up on your credit card statement again magically.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, they want you to, and they're probably like, we're just incentivizing you to come back. You're like, I don't live here anymore.
I don't live here anymore. That's what I even told them. So these people are scumbinos.
Yep.
Rest in hell, Blink Fitness. I felt like I was being
Rest in
pranked
piss.
by this. Rest in piss.
Blink Fitness. The funny thing too is
You know what? I got a word for them. Thank ass.
the photo that they use for the article is from the location we went to in the East Village, and it shows all these people waiting in the cold, waiting to get in, and that's literally what they did to me. Is during COVID, they're like, you have to make an appointment to come to the gym.
Yeah.
It's COVID, and they go, so you would have to go on their app, book a time, so it'd be like 1 o'clock, book a time, and they're okay, and then it's fucking 30 degrees outside. You show up there, and they're like, oh, there's gonna be like an hour wait. So that you and just a bunch of retards are sitting outside, and people with fucking masks on outdoors, freezing, while you're like, why did I make an appointment?
And that whole scam is they go, it's like a really good deal. It's like only $60 or $50. It's like
No, it's like $20.
It's only no, I think it's more like 30, 35.
But then they have their
location. But they're like, well, the catch is you can't go and you can't cancel.
Yes, you can never cancel. It's Hotel California.
And it's crowded in there too.
You can never leave.
it's definitely closing time and Hotel
It's
California.
the gym at Hotel California.
It's definitely the gym at Hotel California. Now, this poo-face girl that we mentioned obviously in our intro.
Yep.
Danny's been, obviously
I've been on
talking about
I've been
it.
on the beat. I'm an early adopter.
Recently, Russian chess champion smeared poison on her childhood rival's board. So this is how it starts.
Sure.
It starts with people putting poo all over their face, and
Yeah.
next thing you know, they're smearing poison on their. By the way, I don't even know how this girl thought she'd get away with it. It's like the craziest.
Yeah, like
story.
you're fucking literally pale face, like vomiting.
How bad do you want to win women's chess? Like, is there even that big of a payday?
No.
She's Tanya Hardening this girl.
Basically,
And
yeah.
apparently the girl, she didn't even do it right. She didn't put enough poison on there, so the girl like got really dizzy and went to the hospital, but she didn't die or anything.
That's kind of unlike women, because women are the best at poison.
They love
Like, if there was a World
That's
Series,
why they're poisoning their own faces with poo.
if there was a World Series of poisoning, like women would be taking top spot.
That's what I'm saying. She's good at poisoning, and then she was like, "Well, let me play chess," but my main passion is poisoning.
I'm really, she's not even that good at poisoning.
She's bad at
She's
poisoning.
about as good at poisoning as she is at chess. She's not even a top 100 poisoner.
I mean, we mention this every time, but it's always funny to me that there's girls' chess categories and guys' chess categories. Like, why would there be?
Unnecessary. The poo lady is pretty funny too because I did a little not deep dive, but
Talk to it, lady. You have done it. You would have done a deep dive.
Well, I did a video about it, and then
There's not really much more to say about the chess.
anyways,
It's
yeah,
classic.
yeah, classic, just classic poisoning your rifles. But the poo girl, she's from Brazil, and then she posted this video about how there was like Harvard came out with this study.
She's the period face girl. You know that, right?
Is she the period?
She's the original girl that was putting the period on her face,
right, yeah,
and then
yeah,
she
yeah.
upgraded to poo because it wasn't gross enough for
And
her.
it's funny, her husband's like some big, because she's got like, tons of cosmetic surgery, and her husband is like a big like cosmetic surgeon or whatever. So there's like one video where she's like smearing poo on her face, and he's just in the background being like, kind of like.
She has a clothespin on her nose.
with her own shit. But the thing is, so she cites this Harvard article. The reason why she does it because a Harvard study, right? But the Harvard study, I don't know if there's like a lost in translation thing, but the Harvard study is basically saying that if you put your like when you're younger, similar to like freezing your eggs, you can freeze your poo when your gut microbiome is like in better shape.
So she's freezing her poo at specific days.
No, she's not freezing it. This is what the article said. The article says that you freeze your poo, and then in the future, when your like gut bacteria is off, and they do this for people who have certain diseases, you can basically have a poo transplant, but you put it in your stomach, like probably you put it up your rectum. It doesn't say anything about smearing shit on your face for skincare. Like she totally missed that part where it's like it has nothing to do with that.
Getting a poo transplant is so fun.
Yeah, it's literally like that's what the Harvard study was like. Yeah, you can fix your stomach with a poo transplant.
You're probably walking funny coming out of there, man. The doctor just shoving your own poo up your ass.
Yeah, he goes, normally we take the poo out. This is the first time we're putting it back in.
You can poo shoved up your. I do not want to do that procedure. I'd be like, well, okay, what are their other options?
Can I take a pill? They're like, yes, but it's poo.
Is that blackface, by the way?
I don't know if they care about that much as in Brazil.
That would be hilarious though, getting canceled for blackface, and then you're like having to, everyone's talking, you're getting blasted by the media, and you're sitting there getting canceled with poo on your face. So it seems like insult.
You're like, no, it's not blackface. It's poo. I wonder if she was trying to get ahead of a blackface scandal, right? Like she knew like RFK.
And then anytime she gets in trouble, she was like, you know that I'm poo on my face.
It wasn't black. it's a skincare. It's not like there was a big thing about to drop in like Brazilian press. She goes, no, it's not.
Are you kidding me?
I never did blackface.
Look at all these.
Look at my skin.
Look at all these photos of you in blackface. Like everyone who knows me that I'm constantly my face is covered in shit.
Yeah, it's just look how glowing I am.
Well, she keeps it in a container. I mean, can you imagine fucking baby girl and you like go into your fucking freezer to get a meal and there's fucking all her poo jars. This is next level.
Yeah. So, and I guess she has to harvest her own poo.
What does harvest mean?
Well, where do you get it from?
Well, you're saying harvest like she...
Harvest the bowl. She's either fishing it out of the bowl.
You think she takes the block?
Or she's pooing on a plate, and then... I don't know. How would you collect your own feces?
It is a good question. How does she collect it? Does she fish it out? Does she go direct the
Does she go Brian Johnson style? And it's like she goes and finds like a 16-year-old, like very like virile woman, and he goes, "Hey, can I get your poo?
What can I do to get your?"
Because she's like probably in her mid-30s or older, so she's probably like, "But my poo is like not even good anymore."
It was making me laugh. The Brian Johnson guy that's always talking about his biological age.
Yeah.
It's like it does. If you had a friend that was always talking about his biological age, it does seem like someone that's trying to get young pussy.
Yeah.
Like you can just picture that guy in court being like, "You don't understand. There's an age and a biological age."
My biological age is 14.
What don't you get about the age and the biological age situation?
Yes, I am 54, but my biological age. Therefore, you must acquit.
Holding his ID with his biological age up. Yeah, but anyways, this is the wacky.
So don't put poo on your faces, ladies who watch the show.
Ladies,
we implore you. Just go use normal soap and skincare stuff.
You know what the grossest part is?
Or do put poo on.
I've been talking about, and we are the first to, tell simps that we have a bit of an epidemic and the boys have got to keep it together. Yep. Just like I was saying, there's that girl that has her skin falling off. It's like, as weird as that is, that there's 90 PMs being like, can I buy some skin?
Yes.
Like, no matter what you look like as a woman,
please.
there is always a man that will give you money to get naked on the internet.
Yep.
So it is... partially we take some credit that, the girl that's poo, there's still a guy that will sleep with him. If there was a dude that was whole deal that's putting poo on his face, I don't think he's swimming in Tang as well.
No.
If you're swimming in the septic tanks, I don't think
he's currently swimming in the East River right now, that guy, collecting poo.
Yeah, exactly.
For
So,
his face scare.
yeah, exactly. So I will say that there is always someone that will be engaging, so we take some
We just have to
credit.
hope the Kardashians don't get on this trend, because then all our girls are going to be...
If the Kardashians start
come
poo
home
facing,
and then every chick is like poo
they
face.
could start an epidemic of poo faces across the country.
No problem. Yeah, you're like, you're going to a guy with your girl, you're like, hey, I got to use the restroom. She's like, hey, just do me a favor, don't flush.
Yeah, 100%.
I need to collect your leavings.
So keep an eye on those Kardashians. Ladies and gentlemen, keep an eye on those Kardashians. That's one thing you could do.
Then I get the poo trend started.
I know that sort of makes me laugh, the idea of any girl in New York, if you want them to convince them to do something, you just have to convince them that the Republicans don't want them to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you hear? JD Vance is trying to take away your right to take the garbage out.
JD Vance is trying to take away your ability to pay for this meal.
Republicans are on record saying they don't want you to work 70 hours a week and support your guy.
Yeah, they're taking all your rights away.
It's a pretty.
They do not want you to tidy up the house.
Republicans have been going on record saying that they don't want you to be making dinner on time. They said specifically they don't want it. They don't want you to have it ready at a specific time every day.
Well, let's hope Republicans don't come out against Pooh Face.
If Republicans come against Pooh Face, the girls like, "It's my right, on my face."
It's my right.
Now, JD Vance, you think I scream your Pooh Face? It'll be very quickly.
Everybody, well, I was gonna say everyone at the Kamala Harris rallies in Pooh Face, but that won't work.
No, that'd be tough.
That'd be a bridge too far. That would be a scandal.
I love when I see a good girl inspirational quote because I saw one. I actually wrote it down. It said, "If you kick people out of your life and they get mad about it, that's just further proof that you didn't want them." I've never seen a higher justification.
Nice
No matter who it. If you tell your mom, if you just completely ignore your mom and she's like, "Hey, you've been ignoring me," and you go "fuck off," and then your mom's like, "What are you doing?" You go, "Wait."
You just proved my point, Mom. You're toxic.
Why haven't you called your grandmother? Fuck my grandmother. And then your grandmother's like, "What did I do to you? I don't like that you're not." "Oh, you don't like it, huh?" "Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you."
Patriarchy strikes again, Grandma.
Noted. Noted loud and clear.
Yeah, that's a good inspirational
That's
man.
not a crazy one. It was just like, no matter what happens, if they just disappear, good.
Yeah.
And if they get mad, they're like, "Hey, we've been friends for 10 years. Why did you all of a sudden just stop responding to my text?" You go,
Yeah.
"Well,
Well, see?
like, all right."
You apply that to a lot of stuff. It's like your bank account's meant to be overdrawn all the time. When you try and take out money, they go, "There's no money
Yeah.
left." You go, "Yeah, that's right."
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be. So I don't know what you know about that. So I feel like this is sort of your domain, and you know this is well, it has been a Danny episode, if I'm being completely honest.
Is it more poo content?
Poo on faces, fat girls singing songs about being fat.
Yes.
But the UK tweet jailing.
This is crazy.
Okay, so
This is fucking mental.
the UK authorities, this guy Keir Starmer,
Two-tier Keir. They're calling him.
Two-tier Keir's all right.
Two-tier Keir.
Well, he's not a guy I'd want to have a Keir with. That's a beer, ladies and gentlemen.
He's a bit of a Keir.
What's that one? Where? I was hoping that's what you thought. I was hoping something else was coming. The UK authorities threaten extradition, jail to US citizens for online post-stoking riots, and their whole thing is just like, just because you're in the UK doesn't mean I can't get you.
Right. Well, that's their whole
You're gonna
deal.
extradite people
The
to jail.
Metropolitan Police, like literally the chief of police of London, basically came out and he's like, "Yeah, you know, if you retweet stuff."
And that means if you go to the UK, they jail you?
Well, here's the thing. So they were like, "We'll extradite you," but essentially someone posted and they're like, "Well, they can't do that because the crime you commit has to be a crime in the country you live in as well. I don't think you can be extradited for a crime where it's not also a crime. Like your country won't send you away."
Yeah, your country's, but if you went there, they could.
But theoretically, like
their
you could
hands
go to
on you.
customs and they're like, "Let's see your phone," and they're like, "You
You're in
retweet
jail.
these base memes and jail for you."
But like obviously this stuff's been creeping up more and more in the UK or whatever. But this guy is first of all, I just want to say that is another 55-year-old woman. It's funny, like even when the Trump jokes, the 55-year-old women are getting it right now. Remember the girl they got like was the bunch of 55-year-old women got fired for their jobs for posting Trump memes. Now 55-year-old women are getting put in jail for their memes.
Yeah,
because 55-year-old Facebook women are the most susceptible of any woman.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, nobody. I don't think. Oh no, one guy.
They see themselves as infallible too.
Yeah, there is one guy who got popped for tweets.
There's a bunch of guys that have kind of been getting popped by tweets.
Yeah, but they're mostly Facebook posts. Like just to give you an understanding of just like differences in the platforms is like because people you can't really be anonymous on Facebook. Right, where you can be anonymous on Twitter, where you can't really do that.
The head of the police is threatening expedition jail time for U.S. citizens for online posts. 55-year-old woman was arrested for publishing written material to stir up racial hatred. You know, I want to say, the people like Keir Starmer and media people, two-tier Keir,
yeah,
the absolute nerve of these people to go out and be like, they're stirring up racial hatred.
I mean, crazy, but also some of them, like this one guy. They also said too that they go. Not only is participating in a riot will put you in jail. And here's the thing too, like these crimes were committed 2 weeks ago. Like they essentially set up a 24-hour court system so that they can fast track all these people through the court.
Like it's the highest crime of all crimes.
Like they were like, this is such a problem that they're like, we need to expand. They have like, we have all these lawyers, like brought in all these extra lawyers and all this stuff so that like it's literally 24 hours around the clock prosecuting them. But like
24 hours around the clock. We open up night jail for tweets.
Well, remember that show Night Court? It's like that. It's like Night Court. But they were like, not only is going and rioting a crime, but if you show up at a riot because you're like, I want to see what's going on, or say you're at a protest, you go, this is just a peaceful protest, which I don't know what the laws are in the UK around that, probably illegal now. But if you're there and you're just watching a riot, they go, that's illegal now too. So if you're just
they do like a trace on your eyeballs to see where you're looking in the wrong direction.
You were at a riot. You go, well, it started as a protest. And
well, everyone knew when these protesters started, they were licking their lips, being like, "Oh, someone gonna get censored real bad."
Real bad. But like this one guy got 18 months in jail yesterday because he called a bunch of police officers in England. You're like, that's every other word. Like, dude, you go there, like you go to fucking to London on a vacation, and like the guy at the passport control is like, so what are you doing here? And you're like, they just say that. It's like a normal word.
Of course, yeah.
And you're like, what? So you're not allowed to call police? What if they are being that though?
It's always one of those things too. I've watched the like media coverage of this, and the media coverage is like slopping it up. Like because it's one of the there is some of the tweets that you post that your average person is just like, that's a lot. You know what I mean?
For sure.
But it's like, well, yes, obviously, if you take millions of tweets, they're gonna pick the ones that like are that people, because they force people in a position where they go, do you defend this? And you go, it's irrelevant what that says.
Right.
You know what I mean? You go, do you defend this tweet? And you go, the tweet is irrelevant of whether the guy should go to jail. It's not a factor.
In America, sure.
I have a video of like one of the guys, I guess, in his administration or whatever, and the way that they think about it over there. So the defenders, because the press guys have been, I'm telling you, the way, like also they go, armchair thug is first to be convicted, and they after stirring up racial hate. So the way that they describe it is kind of like obviously good.
Yeah, of course. Well, that's the thing is there was like the hotel that these migrants were staying at was like attacked or whatever, and then some of the people were getting popped because they were like, attack the hotel, light it on fire.
Well, it's always with these things. You're just like, well, obviously, it's not about the one tweet. It was about the next one and the next one.
Sure. Also, it's like these aren't even like, hey, this isn't like Tommy Robinson. It's like some guy who's like 12 Facebook friends saw this post.
I saw a bit of Tommy Robinson went on Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
Jordan Peterson's wife was there in the interview.
Oh, really?
I've never seen anything like that. Isn't that interesting? His wife was there.
That's usually how that goes.
His wife's kind of like based at one point. She goes, and women, we've got our own shit that she's got the accent, Canadian accent too, right? She's like, oh, women, we got our own shit that we got to sort of.
We got our own shit.
But it's interesting. I was like, oh, I didn't realize that his wife was sort of like.
She's getting in there.
Well, she's kind of the same business, right?
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if this making me laugh. Jordan Peterson doing crowd work at his rally.
Oh, really?
No. Well, we've been talking about how girls like crowd work because they're nosy.
Yeah.
Which is the funniest thing to me. But I don't know, for some reason, it was like making me laugh. The other Jordan Peterson, like, what do you do for a living? Drug dealer?
Yeah. How long have you been together? Oh, he doesn't know. In the doghouse tonight.
Yeah, because they have to do these huge rallies, right? Yeah. Okay, listen to the way that they talk about this. Hold on.
It's regulated. I think this is better to be regulated. I don't think we have enough regulation of the press. I think the press is worse for not being regulated. Social media is just another form of media. And for too long, people in that sort of internet world, this whole idea of freedom of the internet, they thought that somehow that this great technical change can go through without touching the sides of democracy. I think democracy needs to sort of be interpreted.
So there's a lot of these kind of like they fancy themselves intellectuals almost.
Yeah, they have a different
there.
idea of what democracy is, I suppose.
Well, it's like their idea is obviously incorrect because you're like, yeah, you don't have democracy if people can't voice their opinions.
For sure. And they're like, there's one thing, you're not like this one guy.
Like, unless we get rid of one of the opinions that we don't like, democracy should be able to vote that they don't want to hear these opinions. And it's just like, that's, you don't have or it's a rigged vote if you don't let one people's side speak. It's mental.
Yeah, there's one thing where you're like this one guy, the tweet he posted that he got, I believe, 30 months in jail for was he copy and pasted this woman. She's like the wife of a counselor, like city councilor in London. Okay. And she posted a tweet, and then he was like literally just copied and pasted it to be like, look, see, nothing will happen to me because for me posting this, but she'll get in trouble because there's like a two-tier justice system. And then he got sentenced to 30 months.
Gee, they're out of control.
He like assumed
over
like literally he's like nothing will happen to me. So see.
Yeah, it was like obviously the people in kind of the what you would call the establishment, they are drooling right now. Like, ooh, a new tool. Like it's Christmas morning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like they're giving the Oprah sentencing.
Not even
you get a sentence. You get a sentence.
Not even like due process or anything. They just go, hey, did you tweet this?
And it does feel more like, when Canada had the thing and you're like, well, you hear about one every 6 months, but it's not that bad. It feels like they're fucking doling it out pretty quick
It's
there.
coming to Canada.
Obviously, Trudeau's
gonna go, word? We can do that?
Oh, word?
We can do that?
Trudeau definitely doesn't like that having a new toy that he can't play with to fucking censor people.
Oh, let's fast track this shit.
Oh, Trudeau's gonna be, I think he's gonna be doing one of those things where he dresses up in the judge uniform.
Yeah.
You like to dress up?
Oh, yeah, the powdered wig. Get that out of the costume bin. Honey, get my costume. I guess his wife's gone, but get my costume bin.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of American politicians too that fucking look at this and they be like, oh, that'd be nice. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Kind of a guy.
Dude, you don't even get
they look at these
viral posts though. That's the crazy thing. It's even if they were like, yeah, it's got 10 million impressions, and so it's like
you're like, well, you go, who saw it? You go, mainly I think Doug from his work and
his mom,
his
sister who tells us stuff too. They all think the same thing.
His mom, his sister, and Doug. His daughter didn't like it.
Did Doug go to the riot? No, Doug stayed home. Football was on, so he watched football. And
but these people have a new tool and they're happy to use it. It was like, it's funny because they're bright. It's like, I mean, you'd like to think that these fake intellectual types that like to do their media tours, like understand, like it's like almost feels like they never even heard the other side of it, where it's like, obviously what people are arguing about is that what happens next is that it's used disproportionately for political reasons.
And just to silence people. Like, if you heard this story out of China, you'd be like, yeah, that's par for the course. Yeah, some guy posted something on Weibo or some shit, and he's done 30 months in jail with no trial, like fast track trial. They disappear, and you go, yeah, that's what I expect from a country.
See, in
country like China,
they just disappear. They're billionaires.
Yeah.
Which is maybe
This isn't
more.
billionaires.
No, but I'm saying
these guys are all like plumbers.
Well, it's not just billionaires that get disappeared, my friend.
No.
Well, yeah, that's why when I did my Australia tour, that was the guy that runs all the China tours. And I'll tell you a little interesting thing.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy runs the comedy club in China, right?
Yeah.
So he doesn't do it anymore, but for years he did. So a big part of what they're dealing with is what they can say and what they cannot say. And like anything, it's one of those things where it's like there's big rules, but if it's like some big famous person from the West, they kind of all turn a blind eye, right? He can say what they want, right?
Yeah.
And I told you before that it was in a lot of these places, a lot of it's like, no, don't talk about drugs, don't talk about gay shit. But what the interesting part was, it's all the snitch culture, right? So what would essentially start with, China, you're not allowed to say anything. It wasn't like, this is what he describes, and he ran this place for years. He described it as, it's not so much like the government's just always there looking, but what he said it's more of is your neighbor's bar will be like, they think something's going on. They like rat you on their competition.
It's literally like Soviet Russia.
No, but it's no. Well, yes, but they're doing it to like kill their competition.
competition.
It's like literally you run a bar and there's all these people at the bar next door to you, and you just be like, yeah, they're saying fucking gay shit in there. So you call up the government and you're like, you might want to check on what's going on. They shut their bar down, and then all of a sudden.
That's interesting. A bit of context in communist China. I think they were the origins of the Karen, like the crazy cranky old woman narking on fucking people, but instead of just shouting on them, they just call the CCP or whatever. So yeah, definitely. Thought police, thought crimes, cultural revolution, etc., etc., etc.
Like you got that's what he says goes on. So it's like it's all that, and then he goes, it's a weird one because they're kind of like an expat club because they're in English.
Yeah.
So he basically said that there'd be times when people that were like Chinese came up and they kind of like were like suspicious and almost had to be like suspicious of like native Chinese people that want to go to this club.
Oh, just
like all of a sudden
because they're in.
One guy in a suit being like, I want tickets to the club, and you'd be like. How'd you hear about us? Like, you know what I mean? But if a bunch of like white people with like maps and sun clothing on come up, they're just like right this way. But if a Chinese guy in a suit's kind of like, I'd like one ticket to a comedy show. You're just kind of like, how'd you hear about us? You know?
Who are your favorite comedians?
Yeah, who are your favorite comedians?
Russell Peters. Russell Peters. Oh, those are all three of them, huh? Someone gonna get hurt real bad.
Someone gonna get censored real bad. So anyways, it's like a constant thing over there. But it is funny to me that in China, they just get rid of their journalists. They just literally disappear them.
Well,
where in America, they have to bring him to an island, get him to have sex with an underage girl, and blackmail them.
Have a good time.
They have to do all this stuff. They have to have islands. They have to have, what do you call it? The Israeli CIA.
Mossad.
They have to have the Mossad involved.
Real party over there.
They gotta do all this stuff, whereas China skips all that.
Yeah,
It's like,
Well, I mean, if you're a Chinese journalist, you get your kind of points from the government.
As opposed to the American journalists, which are just fucking running their mouth willy-nilly.
Yeah, really just forming free thoughts on their own.
It's called there.
I know.
Did you see that?
Caitlin Collins from CNN, the anchor of CNN, who took, I think, Don Lemon's spot or whatever.
Okay.
And then, she was like, he's like, yeah, CNN's really like, you guys objectively do the news. And then the crowd just starts laughing. Everyone starts laughing. He's like, was that supposed to be like a laugh point? He goes, no. Even his audience.
Obviously, CNN, you guys tell the truth objectively. Everyone bursts out laughing.
He goes, no, it's not good for CNN. No, we do though.
Sure. So they did a poll. Majority of Americans believe First Amendment goes too far in the rights and guarantees. So basically, it is one of those things where this is always one of those pendulums that people fight for these rights and then people beg to give them away, sort of thing.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, when you hear stuff you don't like, you go, yeah, there's too much of this nonsense of people saying things I don't like.
I know. It's just like that's why it just needs to be like a culture where people are like, yes, there's stuff you don't want to hear, but like you have to understand that like the ramifications of like solving that is big.
Look, if you want somewhere where there's only stuff you like to hear, go on Threads. That is all of Threads.
Right.
Is everything you want to hear and nothing you don't.
But again, it's not about this guy's not like his ears are hurting. Like his problem is he's like he doesn't want people saying this. Yeah. In his mind, he's like these people online are the reason the riot happens.
So right? The reason the riot happens, literally, yeah. Even though it's not true.
Even though it's potentially not true, but even more so than that, you're just like, well, yes, but like oftentimes when you bottle it up and turn all this stuff away, it's like, well, then you don't have a democracy. And sometimes in a democracy, people are going to have different opinions and people are going to protest.
And then also, like, I mean, you haven't said it, but you're like, okay, so what's the line here? Like, you now...
We know what the line is.
You're like, you just jailed the guy for calling police cunts. Like, okay.
And that's how far it's gone in, what, like a couple of weeks?
2 weeks! At 2 weeks! We need some fucking V for Vendetta action coming back. A lot of those masks are the guy
Two-tier gears are going to be fucking on the chopping block soon.
It's going to be fucking 4-tier gears.
What are you in for?
Facebook post that
nobody
saw.
Yeah, that's the best part. Well, that's Douglas Murray said that when he was on here. I don't think you were here. But basically he said, he was like, it's kind of probably the same thing as the jokes in Canada or whatever, but he's basically like, well, yeah, they're never going to do it to me because it's like they know that that would cause them too much problems.
Yeah.
It's like, so who they're going to do it to is like
somebody.
So it's even worse.
Right, yeah, it's even worse.
You're just like, because you're like, oh, we're going to, if you're even going to try that, it's like, they want to do it like under the radar. Yeah. They're not going to do it to Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan's getting
Although there was a lot of like chatter of people in the UK saying that they need to go after Douglas Murray in the last couple of weeks because he wrote that like Strange Death book.
Well, then if they do that, there's going to have to be like more of an audit on this whole thing. You know what I mean? Whereas they're kind of like, yeah, there's going to be a lot of clamoring, but then it's going to shake down and the fear will be there, and then we'll do this every now and then just to let people know, like, you know, it's the guy that shows up every now and then and beats up one guy.
Like Canada with the truckers, Canada, where they just like kind of go, yeah, we close a couple people's bank accounts. We don't want to do this.
We'd love to stop.
We'd love to not shut down your bank account, but we will and we can. That's up.
Now you mention it, my fucking finger's a little itchy again. To press that.
Don't make me do it.
He's getting a little revved up anymore. Don't make him do it. That's true now.
Finger, I don't want to.
Yes, you do. Guys, listen, I understand you have a right to protest. This guy, however, Peter Pointer over here, he's got a little bit of an itch.
Old PD has got a mind of his own.
I would love for you guys to not be in jail. Me personally, I think everyone should be able to say whatever he wants. This guy, he sees it a little differently. Bring back public execution, PD. Listen, I'm a violent guy. I mean, obviously, sure.
Normal dude. Well, how does this work for like soccer riots and hooligans and stuff? So they do all sorts of crazy shit.
Oh, the hooligans, the hooligans have been in the chopping block for a while. I think a lot of them are like banned from games and stuff like that.
Yeah, they banned
them. But that's the team banning them, I guess. I don't know if it's
and maybe it is. I don't know. Yeah, I know they're like all dry events and all this stuff, but yeah, still.
Fellas, the sun's out. It's summer. You've been out. You're active. Mando, allowing you to put Mando on the fan. That's something that you're
serious discount.
Well, and on top of that,
crazy. Like, yeah, I mean, it's a bad precedent to set.
Yeah, it's interesting. The media coverage is, I guess that's like at its core what we do is on like the media's reaction to things, but like it has been funny to watch. I watched the Trump and Elon. The Slurpee Dawn. Can't stop slurping. Disgusting. Everyone is that he's slurping a lot.
Well, it's because you know what it was?
I didn't notice, but I don't notice anything.
So I noticed it, but it's because...
Did you notice it before people said it?
Instantly, yeah. I tweeted, I go, Slurpee Dawn. But it's
okay.
He had his phone. I don't know if you saw the photo. He had his phone on his desk like this. And
why would that make you slurp?
Because he's looking like this.
So you're saying when you're talking like this, you slurp on?
So the saliva is like coming. You gotta like because your saliva is kind of.
I don't think I slurp on.
If you talk for 3 hours, like if you're like this, like eventually the saliva is like going this way.
I don't notice things like that. Someone could be talking a different accent.
I don't ever talk this, but if you do, like it'll. That's what I think it was anyways. Because people are like, oh, it's like a weird compression thing or something.
Well, the media was slobbering all over themselves to say how bad it was. If you watch, because I saw it, and I guess
it was normal.
I guess they did the Twitter thing and then it wouldn't start.
Yeah,
and then I went to the media and it was just like 80 articles about how it's a disaster and I didn't even.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I had that in the queue, man.
Oh yeah, Elon said it was like a DDoS attack, basically denying.
They were supposed to start at like 7 p.m. and it probably started at 7:01. The journalist's pants already covered in cum.
I mean, they were trying to make it out. They're like, oh, this is like, this is gonna be 3 hours, so you're gonna get a real different side of Don. Exact same thing. Talked about all the exact same.
Buddy, I only watched probably like 40 minutes of it. It kind of reminded me of like if there's like a guy that you like that's doing the podcast tour and you hear him on one podcast and you hear him on another, and then by the third one you're like, oh, he has like a speech he does.
Yeah, he has his bit.
This to me, I was like, this was just him doing the greatest hits. So he was doing his rallying podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard him say every single thing.
The only funny thing he said that was really good that I like laughed out loud was when he was talking about Biden. He's like, Kamala has a low IQ. He was maybe the low IQ president ever. I mean, Biden doesn't even have an IQ. He's at this point. He's like, he probably doesn't even have an IQ.
To be honest, it reminded me of when I was at your wedding. There were a few like older Jewish people, and I know there's just older people in general. I think it's a very like over 50, over 60 thing that you get your brain just has grooves, and then you just fumble around till you get back into a groove, and then you say that stuff you've said a million times.
Sure.
Like if you know what I mean. If you're against Biden, you just like you get back and you're like, oh, the guys. Like I honestly feel like a lot of people when they get to 50, 60 plus, they just their brain works like they have a bunch of tracks in their head. If you think of your brain as like a bunch of different tracks, and they have 5 or 6 tracks, and they just try to put the needle on one of those. They have 5 or 6 records, and they just put the needle on one of those records. They're like, you know, how Q107 in Toronto only plays like the same 14 songs, Magic Carpet Ride over and over again, which is the 70s station. You basically, if you put it on, it's within 5 or 6, you're getting boom, 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 boom. So it's one of those things that I feel like anyone over 60, their brain has 7 or 8 records spinning, and they just move the needle between those 7 or 8 records. So I kind of felt like that a little bit.
And I mean, he only has like, you know, with economy, border, you know, World War III. So like everything just comes back. You know, World War III goes, I had a great relationship with Putin. None of these things would have happened under me. Like, you know, Kim Jong-un didn't like us, and then I started calling him Little Rocket Man, and then we were friends and all this stuff. And you're like, yeah, we've heard all these things.
Yeah, but it wasn't good or bad. But I mean, I don't know if it was like, from my perspective, I guess like that's what politicians do. Is they're like, here are my things that I'm trying to get up. He's not gonna have.
Well, as a person who hasn't heard any of his talking points, I was convinced. It's basically outreach. It's campaigning. That's how campaigns work, dude. You know, and you know, it was basically Elon giving him a platform to campaign to the world, which makes sense to me. So, I think you're reading a little bit too much into it, dudes.
80 hours of material, so I don't think it's that crazy. But it was just like from a listening perspective, you're just like, I'm not gonna listen to this again, you know?
Yeah, 3 hours.
But it was. I was a little salty with Trump when he did this because I thought the Rogan thing was an emo move.
What was the Rogan thing?
Well, so basically he posted like Rogan.
The Rogan, yeah, where he because Rogan said that he liked RFK Jr.
Rogan was on a podcast saying he liked RFK Jr. and then someone clipped it saying he endorsed him, and then Trump posted, and this was the order of operations I've confirmed.
Yeah.
It's like Trump posted basically, hey, just for because it was going so viral, he was like, just for the record, I didn't actually endorse anyone because RFK posted.
Yeah.
I didn't actually endorse everyone. I just think that RFK is the best or whatever. But I also thought it was cool when Trump did. Trump didn't see that.
Yeah.
And then he posted, he was like, a big hit piece on Rogan, and then he like a big like
little podcast, man.
He did one of his tweets, and then he was like, "You're gonna get booed at the UFC," and it was like, I get, you know, this is the thing. I guess some people like it, some people don't. This is how he hit. This is the same thing he did with Kim Jong Il. He tried to do the Kim Jong Il format to Rogan, where he's like, "I'll be really aggressive to you. You'll come back." I mean, that's what he did to Elon Musk. He was like, "This guy's the worst." He's like, he fights with people. He's almost like negs people, and then eventually he was like, and it's not my favorite thing. It feels a little emo, but because I know people in like real life.
He called Gavin. He kind of was like I kind of missed it. I had to rewind, but he was talking about Gavin Newsom. He goes, Gavin Newsom.
Okay.
Because he calls him Gavin Newsom.
Just said it wrong?
No, he calls him Gavin Newsom.
But do you think it's new scum?
New scum. But he's like, he didn't really hold on. He just calls him Gavin Newsom. He goes, Gavin Newsom, a big disaster in California.
I guess he has a good point that Kamala Harris isn't fucking doing a 3-hour interview.
Yeah.
But the Rogan thing to me was just like, it was one of those things where that you can't do the same trick over and over again, where you're just like, you're a fucking piece of shit, and then like eventually like you're just like, well, then we'll make up or whatever.
Yeah.
You put pressure on them and they have to come make up with you or whatever.
And Rogan's not always like that.
He's not like that. So he's not. He's definitely not.
Rogan's
like that.
we'll find out who UFC people like more.
100%. It was just like. It was a gamble, but to me, it felt like a bit of an evil gamble. I actually talked to him a bit when he was at the party we were at last weekend. But it was hilarious from a media perspective, which you actually posted about this. But because Kamala Harris has been doing a thing where she just says she steals all this policies.
She goes, I invented not taxing tips.
Which is hilarious. She's just like doing the Trump policies, and then the way that the media posts it, they go, Trump says he's going to take tax away on tips, which will cost the government
$250 billion.
Of dollars. And then she goes, Kamala
fighting for the working class person.
All right. Yeah, and it was the same publication, the way that they're doing it.
2 weeks apart.
Something, the amount that she has these people's nuts in a vice, or they put their own nuts in a vice.
Yeah, they go, we don't want Trump to win, and we want Kamala to win, and we will lie.
The people who work at these media places show up at the vice and fucking bend down on it. The mobsters are there like, crank it to 10. The mobsters are making
platinum. Like the fucking casino with the mobster's head in the vice.
Well, it's funny because she has a bunch of 20-year-olds doing like a TikTok campaign, basically, and it is funny because like that is the TikTok format of like you see someone else do something that goes viral, and you're like, fuck, we'll do that.
Yeah, we'll just.
Do you see Alec Byron's thing?
With a chick who's
her name's Only JS. And basically he posts like a probably minute-long joke, and then she just legitimately takes his, and she's got like 8 million followers or something, and she just goes to people's jokes, takes them, and just says them word for word, which has been popping up more and more. Like all these, like a lot of podcasts
I see a
saying
lot
like word for word stand-up.
I see a lot of sketches on like Instagram and TikTok where I'm like, I see literally 5 versions, and I have to go like, who actually came up with this?
Well, this is what happened now because you have a lot of people that, especially a lot of these like social media people that were like 20 years old, and then whenever they get famous, and they're like, you're famous for being funny, and you're just like, well, I'm not professional at that. So you're just kind of like, you're like, I haven't been like making stuff forever, and then I got popular. You're like, it's like literally getting thrown in the NBA, and then these people are like, well, I guess you just steal stuff,
Yeah.
right?
The worst part too is
This one word for word make people's jokes, and then let me just say the her thing is
Yeah.
just wild.
Mhm.
This guy, so Alex Byron, he posts about it being like, this is crazy, right?
Yeah.
And then she goes, no, I took that from Reddit. I guess we both took it from the same Reddit post, and he's like, well, yeah, no, I didn't do that because I'm like,
who's an actual comedian?
but he's like,
stealing from Reddit.
but he was like, well, what do you think? Like, it's funny the gaslight me, but he's like, yeah, but I'm me, so I know that I didn't do that. And then, and she was kind of producing this, like, in her mind, it was like kind of maybe a smart move where she was like, well, culpable deniability because she
Maybe
was
a fake Reddit.
well, no, she was like, well, maybe someone transcribed your joke and put it on Reddit.
Right.
I guess that's better to be able to stealing people from Reddit, in her opinion. But like,
Yeah, like you're still stealing something.
to take something verbatim from Reddit. But then she goes, well, I can even find the post. And then she went and you can make like a backdated post on Reddit.
Yeah.
And then he was able
And then
to.
she deleted, but she's like, it was deleted. But I was.
And then he was able to like go and find that it was made by her and
Yeah.
whatever. And it was just like, and then she's just gonna move on with her life.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. So whenever I see these like on Instagram, where I'll see like 5 of the exact same sketch, like literally the exact same one, I always go look at the comments and be like, are people roasting this person for stealing? Never.
No.
Nobody's ever like, yo, you fucking stole this. Everybody's just like, brilliant.
Yeah, and a lot of them are. It's one thing if they're like, okay, I'm doing somewhat of the same idea. I mean,
No, these are legitimately
word for word.
thefts.
I guess just like that's what I mean. It's great because it's all from TikTok, and TikTok is
Well,
like Chinese,
Chinese,
which
yeah.
has no like intellectual property.
Yeah.
So I guess that's.
I guess we're all just Chinese now.
It really does feel
I
like
guess
we're
that's
all
what it
Chinese.
is. Fucking Instagram is just Canal Street now. Literally just buying fake bags.
That's kind of what it is.
Nobody respects anything.
TikTok is America's just China now,
Yeah,
as far as the internet goes, because there's no intellectual property stuff. So that's got out of control.
Yeah, and it can't. It's crazy because you can't
And
afford
they're
it.
all
but then-
operating in their own little silos, so it's like no one.
I
There's
guess
no
you can't
accountability.
like, copyright it anyway, but like I kept posting about the Australian breakdancer, and the Olympics kept copywriting me on Twitter.
Did you see the Australia breakdancer's new news on her, by the way?
No.
Well, the new news on the.
Well, one, breakdancing's out of the 2028 Olympics.
I don't get that.
Thanks.
I don't.
Canadian won gold though.
Nice. I don't. I can see that. Toronto.
Yeah, he was really good.
But I don't get why they were like, this girl sucks so bad, we're canceling the event.
I think it was maybe not. Like
Doesn't
sometimes
make
I think they
sense.
schedule them for.
Apparently, Olympics lost a lot of money too.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Where does the money even come from?
Well, they said they lost $2 billion, and they said that we may never financially recover.
I guess they, but it's like the country that loses the money, right? I don't like who is actually sitting there being like, man, we're.
There's an Olympic committee, I think.
Yeah, but like I'm curious.
Well, who's
like,
making the money off the Olympics merch? It's whatever that company
It's
is.
the IOC. It's just like the Olympic.
Okay, so
yeah, but like they don't,
what are you questioning?
well, I'm just saying they're like the one they don't pay. I don't know. Well, the government's kicking tons of money to do the Olympics. 'cause
I
it's fucking
don't
showcase
know.
for the
They've
country.
announced that they lost billions of dollars. I'm not an expert on it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't know. But anyways, I don't think they like. Sometimes they'll schedule an event. They'll like it's just this year, and we'll see if it's for the next one or whatever. I don't think they're like it's canceled because.
Well, it doesn't even make sense to the kids. Why don't they just like wait till like the Olympics is over, the dust to settle, and then like quietly cancel? Like
Right.
it just seems like what's the point of making a big like public like a girl just so a girl just won gold from Canada. She was obviously like actually good at breakdancing, and then they're like just so you know that's not even an event anymore. Like
Right.
it just seems like rude to everyone else.
Yeah,
If this
yeah,
one
yeah.
girl is bad. You go, this girl's so bad, like your sport is not a sport anymore. I don't know. It just felt like it didn't make sense to me.
It is a weird sport because there's like DJs and there's like a hype man. And
Well, so synchronized swimming's
Yeah,
ridiculous
yeah,
too.
yeah.
I mean, there's no dude. There's a sport in the Olympics where you ski and shoot.
Yeah,
That was the old
yeah.
Jerry Seinfeld joke. You're gonna be swimming and strangling a guy. It's like, but there's plenty of sport, like synchronized swimming. In my opinion, is one of the dumbest things ever.
Yeah.
Breakdancing is just no dumber than that.
Yep. Yeah. That's true.
Breakdancing. My high school when I grew up was huge on the breakdance battles. So they legitimately, probably once a week, we'd have freestyle Fridays where people would have rap battles in the cafeteria.
Yep.
And then they would have freestyle battles, and all the freestyle battles were the ones where they would have the boombox playing, and then it was the ones where you do the battle stuff. So the guy would like take the guy, pretend he was a robot, and then you take the guy's head, put it on the floor, and pretend to piss on it, stuff like that. And then every single Freestyle Friday broke out into a huge brawl. And then basically they eventually canceled it. I don't think there was one Freestyle Friday that didn't involve an enormous brawl afterwards.
Yeah.
So eventually they had to stop Freestyle Fridays. But the breakdance was all the same thing. It's the guy going in the guy's face, pretends to rip out the guy's heart,
Ah, yeah,
and then eat it. It was the
I do actually remember watching the show.
the dumbest shit.
Remember Freestyle Fridays on BET?
Well, I think ours is named after that.
Yeah, it's
Obviously, that's where it came from.
Papa show. Big secret.
I don't know what the breakdancing was called, but it was something. I just remember I remember that taking off the head, then pissing on it, and taking off the heart and eating it.
Yeah, heart and eating it. A 16-year-old just eating your heart. And
14.
Ajax.
And everyone going, oh! The the competitions at our cafeteria were insane. So there's a lot of that
Yeah.
shit, but I would love if someone did that in the break. They went up to the other competitor, pretend to take their head, and then do like a soccer keep up, and then spin it on their hand, and then back. And that would have been good if someone.
They would have liked that in Paris.
Someone did some of the battle break dancing.
Yeah.
Tim Walt's masculinity is terrifying to Republicans. This is an article that's come out in a lot of places. Now, how many Republicans do you think he puts on the camo hat? They go,
oh my God, not the camo! They really make a point of referencing that he wears the camo hat, dude.
He loves wearing the camo hat.
All the hunters in America who are like kind of on the fence, they go, this guy wears a camo hat. He's one of you.
Yeah, exactly.
Why would you vote for Trump when this guy wears a camo hat?
Guy's a fucking
You
camo
ever
hat.
seen Trump in a camo hat?
Do you think the Duck Dynasty guys are just like, change our donation?
Fuck Trump.
Or do you think they're also terrified? They're like, I'm a man, but that's a fucking real man.
That's a real camo hat right there.
Their campaign launch in Philly, Harris lauded Coach Waltz, honored his veteran status and beamed with pride that Waltz was known as one of the Capitol Hill's best marksmen, winning a bipartisan sharpshooting contest year after year. So this is a man who's half man, half Bigfoot. He lives in the woods. This is a terrifying man, ladies and gentlemen.
Stolen Valor Tim.
They're
coming after him.
Well, know what I would think? If I was doing nicknames for him, personally, I was thinking, and no one's come up with this, well, maybe they have, but because one of the things, the COVID snitch line, let's call him Tattletale Tim. That's
That's a good one. Yeah, the problem is I think a lot of the Republicans...
Like if he was wearing the camo stuff, they'd be like, yeah, you're Tattletale Tim.
Tattletale Tim, that is a good one.
Or Talltale Tim, because I guess...
Talltale Tim's also good because of the Stolen Valor stuff. I don't think the Republicans are trying to make the Stolen Valor thing like such a big thing. I'm like, I don't think like they're like go to a Harris or people who support Kamala Harris and be like, this guy's like lied about his rank in the military. They're like, we hate this country. Like, what are you talking about? I don't care. I hate America. Do you think I give a shit that he lied about his good? Yeah, like good. I don't care. Like he dodged going to Iraq and retired earlier. Like good. I hate Iraq. I hate this country. I hate the wars. Shit that he lied about that. I would have done the same thing.
Legitimately. Well, that's I guess they're trying to get the armies on board, but I would imagine the armies are already on board. The army guys are already on board.
Yeah, I mean maybe there's like a strong contingent.
But the army guys may have been switching when they saw him hunting in the forest. They'd be like, I didn't realize this guy's fucking one of us.
Yeah, and I mean he was like he did serve in the military for 20.
I thought it was the National Guard.
Whatever, National Guard for 24 years. But the thing is,
what does the National Guard do? Every once in a while, they come to a city to.
He basically because he's trying to
yell at a protester.
Well, they do stuff on the state level, but then as far as, and I could be wrong about this, but they got deployed. Like they spoke with people who were in his like whatever group or division or whatever, and so he was like a he got promoted to command master sergeant, which is like this whole program, and then they got essentially a warning letter saying you are prepared to be deployed. He like I think maybe 2 months later retired, knowing that he was going to be deployed because they received this, and then they were like, here's your formal deployment notification after he retired. So he's trying to say, no, I retired, and then we got the deployment. But you're like, no, you got the warning letter in advance, so you knew you were getting deployed. And then he's like, no, I just like retired. I retired because I want to run for Congress. And you're like, no, you knew.
You knew you were gonna.
You knew. And then also he's been lying because he keeps referring to himself. Like people are like, so you were a command master sergeant, and he's like, he wasn't a command master sergeant. He was for like a couple months, but he never finished the program, so he can't call himself that. He's a master sergeant or whatever. Or whatever. So anyways,
he's really wearing the Woodsy Man's costume. That's
I mean he is. He's like I'm a hunter and all this.
Well, he did a whole thing. He goes, I guarantee that JD Vance can't shoot pheasants like I can.
Losing the vegans, Tim.
Well, it is funny because they are running sort of a thing because they're basically doing their rallies for like kind of like city bisexuals.
Yeah.
And then he's going out there like playing to the cameras, like being like, and I can shoot pheasants, and everyone there's like, when's the guy from Migos going on?
Where's Quavo? We came here for Quavo.
Yeah, I heard that some guy that was on a Jay-Z record was going to do a song or something tonight, and I got to listen to this guy tell me about how he's in Duck Dynasty, basically.
Yeah. You know what time Fat Joe's coming out of?
I heard Pete Davidson's coming to do a speech. It's an interesting little thing that they're running, but they are basically trying to eat Trump's lunch with all this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the polling is working. My actual theory, this is my conspiracy theory, is that it's going to seem like, because, they flip the polls, and it's going to seem like Harris is going to win, and then Trump's going to steal it on election day, and then they're going to go fucking...
That's what you think? Would you bet on that?
The left's going to go crazy, like, insane.
Buddy, I'll tell you what.
If they think, because imagine...
If that does happen, I honestly think we'll be in the podcast studio, and it'll be like...
Oh, can you bet on that, Ryan? Yeah, short Target.
What?
Short Target.
I don't get it.
Target's the company. Short their stock. Targets will be falling all across America.
Legitimately, we'll be here. And they'll be like, Trump has won the election.
Everybody's like, no, you told us again that a woman was a lock. to be the next president. You've been saying it's a lock.
Buddy, if they have to get Dikembe Mutombo on their fucking back-to-back women.
Jimmy the Greek said it was a lock. This is gonna be even worse because that was an old white woman. This is a younger black woman who's gonna have this stolen from her on election day. Oh my god,
That's not gonna be good for anybody.
no, I don't think so.
Yeah,
that'll be the absolute worst case scenario. I mean, like if they were saying they weren't, Trump wasn't accepting the results of the election. Someone actually said when I posted this, because how remember like Trump wanted Pence to not certify the election.
Yes,
because the VP can do that.
Yeah,
the current VP is Kamala Harris. She's the
one that's
certified to not certify. So she's like, I ain't doing it. No,
I'm not certifying him. He's a certified pedophile. There. She comes and says that.
Quavo, hit
it. The only certification that's happening around here is Donald Trump being a certified pedophile. I definitely.
Oh, dude, what if Trump
New York's gonna be a fucking shit show.
What if Trump wins and then he plays They Not Like Us? Comes out at 3 a.m. They Not Like Us.
He comes out in the camo hat.
Yeah, camo hat.
Well, anyways, they're really pushing that this guy's a real man.
Yeah, he's a real man.
Real man.
Real man.
You know what was actually making me laugh too? Also, is there is. We've talked, obviously there's some truth to it, but you see a lot of guys that were kind of, I guess you'd call boomers, born in the 70s, and they're all like, men are way softer right now. When we were growing up, we were men, we fixed things.
Sure.
And then you see a picture of them in high school, long hair, belly top, bell bottoms, roller skating. You know what I mean? And they'll be just like,
dope.
Smoking dope, and they'll be like, back in my day, men used to be men. And you're just like, you're wearing bell bottoms.
Yeah, you're like,
they were belly tops with a collegiate photo on.
You went to Canada to avoid Vietnam. What are you talking about?
Listen to on the roller skates to Queen, don't stop me now. Having a good time. We're just real man shit.
Yeah, real man shit at a Kiss disco concert.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of these guys have a bit of a revisionist history. They were the belly tops with the number on it.
Yeah.
And it's like, you look like a gay cheerleader for the team.
Yeah.
How many people's dads right now that are just like watching Tucker being like these fucking kids and you're just like, yeah, here's you in a belly top. Like
mesh midriff showing.
What on the world is zestier than roller skating? Like, at least our generation did say, like, yeah, rollerblading, no thank you.
Yeah, at least we put them in line to make it a little more dangerous.
We put
little wheels.
Yeah, we put them in line to make it a little less, no wheel-on-wheel action.
Yeah, no break at the front. Are you kidding me?
Break at the front is zesty.
Very zesty breaking it.
Breaking it, you're right. Breaking at the front in a belly top. Yeah.
Back in my day.
Yeah, you know what happens when you break at the front? A little bit of bending over. That's why we put it at the back, bending over. And
the cornhole opens just an eighth of an inch.
Yeah, exactly. When you're bending over backwards to stop on your rollerblades, that's what happens. You close yourself up.
The sphincter tight.
Whereas they're bent over, just fucking prime target for another bell-bottom man with a leather jacket with his fucking full chest hanging out.
Yeah.
Listen to Queen in that other band. There was a metal band that we now know the lead singer was gay when it's obvious looking back that he was gay.
Judas
No,
Priest.
not Iron Maiden. You know the one though, Johnny Glover.
Which one was
He'll find it.
Oh.
Judas
Iron Maiden, was
Priest.
that Rob Halford?
Yeah.
Because he was gay. I don't know.
Well, maybe it was Rob Halford, but
I'm not a big fan.
Judas Priest.
Sorry, I'm sure people are like yelling at us right now, but
I mean, it didn't take that long to figure it out.
well, just for even saying the wrong thing. They're like, how could you not know?
You're not a metalhead? Well, anyways, yeah, they're doing the YMCA at the roller skating rink, literally.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that might have been our generation.
Yeah,
we weren't roller skating though.
I do remember.
I don't think I ever did the YMCA. Maybe I did, but I probably more likely did the Macarena.
I've done them both.
Macarena, I for sure did.
Yeah, I remember good roller skate.
It was kind of interesting. Our buddy sent us this thing. One of our fancy rich tech friends.
Yeah,
he sent us Bill Clinton's policy in I think it was 1992.
Yeah,
and he goes, so this was Bill Clinton's policy of what do you call it? Platform.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh, platform shoes. That's another one they used to wear.
Yeah, with the fish in them.
Platform shoes.
Freaks.
Platform shoes with fish in
With the
them.
goldfish in them, you fucking animal abusing freaks.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, he sent us Bill Clinton's platform at the time, and it reads exactly like a mega platform.
Yeah.
I'll just read a few of them because it's kind of wild. We call for restoring basic American values that built this country and always make it great: personal responsibility, individual liberty, tolerance, faith, family, hard work. Our party's first priority is opportunity, broad-based, non-inflationary economic growth, and the opportunity that flows from it. No interest in domestic. The current president, with no interest in domestic policy, has given America the slowest economic growth. So they're saying no globalization, basically. We reject the do-nothing government of the last 12 years and the big government theory that says We can hamstring business and tax and spend our way to prosperity. We believe in free enterprise and the power of market forces. Goes on and on and on.
No men and women in sports.
Government don't raise children. People do.
Yeah.
To empower America's communities, we pledge to restore government as the upholder of basic law and order.
Basically,
And crime
Republicans right now are just 90s Democrats, or
Yeah.
not even, like mid-2000s Democrats.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, obviously, there's always a bit of like, this is what their platform is. This is what they actually do. So I don't, I wasn't. Maybe I don't remember that time period enough because I was, 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, this is the thing. This is the thing. Of course, they were his platforms. You got to look at his policy. Turned out to be highly interventionist. Turned out to be. He created the New World Order of globalization. And people don't know. People don't know that there was a huge anti-globalization movement in the 90s, which was our movement, like the far, I don't know if they were far left or I guess not, but there was a massive anti-globalization movement at the same time, and there was a massive globalization meeting in Melbourne in the year 2000 on September the 11th, and the anti-globalization movement was fucking hard at it. There was government shutdown. This was a genuine threat to the New World Order. And a year later, boom, it's all over. There you go. That's history in motion. So yeah, the thing was Clinton, yeah, exactly. It's like they believed Clinton because he was a Democrat, because he didn't have a pillowcase over his head anymore, but I don't know. I don't know. Like it's hard to say, but when the what's her name, the fucking lady, Monica Lewinsky, blew up, pun intended. He went and blew up a whole bunch of shit in the Balkans to divert the attention from it. And other things, just before 9/11 happened, there was official documents saying that the moon landing was fake. Shit about, fucking what's his name? Henry Kissinger. I can't remember what Kissinger said, but something really important. And on and on and on. You see, it's like, if you make big news pale in comparison to something that's catastrophic or huge, then you've basically built yourself a free pass, I mean, that's grubby politics. But now, if things don't fit the narrative, they just go straight down the wipe zone, the wipe hole, So yeah, no, it's interesting, isn't it? It's very, very interesting. I mean, I guess it's because the Democrats fucking hated that Republicans had taken their liberation narrative and were actually, doing something good in the country. And I mean, they still had the means of control over it, so, they caused as much division and hatred in society and then just rigged the election, just a perfect catalyst, I mean, the Black Lives Matter thing started at the beginning, but, it didn't gain traction. Then Al Gore, fucking The Inconvenient Truth 2.0. And that's another thing. People forget about The Inconvenient Truth from 2004, 5, 6, something like that. Al Gore's documentary, released, I believe, by Paramount, maybe Paramount Vantage, I don't know. Like, it was trying to be like some edgy, like, you know, like real science shit, you know, saying how, you know, we'd be underwater by 2015 or whatever. You know, hasn't aged well, like, at all, but had the zeitgeist in a whirl at the time. You know, shit like myths like peak oil. God, yeah. There was a movement against female genital mutilation, but nothing about male circumcision. Oh yeah, and they shut the they shut the student unions down across campuses. Ooh, they did not like that. They did not like that. And I mean, I was actually working in the student union. I took over the newspaper. And yeah, as soon as there was no money coming in for the unions, they could not be fucked, eh? Like, they could not be fucked at all. You know, and they'd basically been using the newspaper as a propaganda chest, you know, for the student unions, you know. And when I came in and I was like, fuck those niggas, we're gonna bring real journalism back. Nobody gave a fuck. Nobody wanted to write anything for me. I ended up putting on a website saying our shit is coming soon. I wanted to do my first edition on accountability. Did posters for it, all this kind of shit. Couldn't get one single contributor. And this was in 2006. And then basically it all ended when, like, I did pamphlets for, I wanted to do a moratorium on the Iraq War. And, you know, made potato salad, made all these things. Wanted to show Buffalo Soldiers. I'm just remembering all of this right now, you know. And when nobody turned up, like, at all, and then one of my friends turned up and we had a chat, and then I was like, fuck this, I'm fucking leaving, I'm leaving this fucking place, I'm done. I drove for like an hour or something, I'm like, fuck, there is no leaving. So yeah, I dropped out of the union, you know what I mean, like, these fucking ratchet cunts, you know, like, it's just, yeah, it's just totally disgusting. Really saw true colors, you know, like, basically, like, you know, meetings running so fucking late, waiting for their fucking man in Saigon to fucking turn up or whatever, you know what I mean, so that they could fucking stack the branches and shit. You know, we call it pork barreling. You know, lots of pizzas, lots of this, that, the other, but nothing to fucking support the students, you know. And none of them were actual students. Oh yeah, that's right, one of them was doing fucking public policy on terrorism. Of course, a terrorism expert. Fuck. Anyway, do continue, boys. I just wanted to let you know that's how they used to get you back in the day. You know. And the simple fact is, Reagan did a fucking lot, didn't he? I mean, you know, promoted serial killers. Got ready for World War VII or whatever. I don't know. And I mean, that's another thing you've gotta remember, dudes. Like, when you are in America, you are insulated. That does not mean the world is not at war. You know, the world is clearly fucking at war. You know, like, you can't, like, that naive mindset that, like, oh, we're not fighting, the world's not at war. Well, every other motherfucker in the world is fighting at the moment. You know, in whatever way. I mean, war was waged with the pandemic, you know. the fucking Chinese prison virus. Like, and of course, those who they wanted to get the virus got the virus, and those that they didn't want to get the virus didn't get the virus. You know, it makes you wonder, fucking A. You know, fucking Daniel Andrews, fucking all these cunts probably got the virus fucking 4 years ago. You know? Because what they don't tell you is that COVID-19 is actually a cancer vaccine. You know? So it's in their best interest. And some people,
remember the period.
Some people get it, and others, by the grace of God, they will never get it. You know what I mean? So interesting. I don't know what I'll do with my life. It's not strife. I just need a wife. I've got one already, but she's only in digital form. Keep hybridizing and irradiating that corn. There's no more lawn, and it's almost past corn. So get with the fawn, Jensen John, and let's keep this rolling no more.
Exactly, but on paper, what their proposals were exactly what your average Republican would be right now.
Yeah, for sure.
And then
it's just like I guess it just goes to show you that how much further, like I guess everybody moved left.
Yeah.
Just that everybody moved left and the left moved extra left.
I have another theory that was maybe has been said before, but kind of because there's obviously like the big social conversations, and really I probably in reality am more concerned economic conversations, even though they're less fun to talk about.
Yeah.
But like if I was actually to say about like things that I thought like what would help the country or whatever, obviously. But it kind of is, if you look at it, so many of like America are.
Okay, so basically, again, with Al Gore and Clinton and stuff, there was a whole confected story about how Florida was stolen from the Democrats. And they gave that shit fucking 2 weeks until they disproved it. Although it'd be like, nigga, it's Florida. You know? And that created that like mindset of like, oh, they steal. You know, so maybe, yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, it's fucking mind games, you know. And I mean, you know, got in industry plants, you know, Barry Obama has been, you know, he ain't no real black man. He's fucking grey man with his man. Now, isn't it? So, fucking Big Mike Obama. I want to see a big fight between Big Mike and Big Mike. That'd be fucking sick, eh? And Big Mike and Big Mike. All the Big Mikes in a row fucking just beating the shit out of each other. Or just beating the shit out of Big Mike. So that's why marriage equality came in, guys. It was no altruism, no faith in the people. It was so Barry and Big Mike could stay married, you know, in love and reality and stuff, you know. Even though, fuck, who beats who there? Maybe it's just fucking MMA all the time. MMA 24/7 with those cunts when the camera's not on. Those poor fucking Sudanese refugees that they fucking took in, eh? Jesus Christ.
Or the West problems probably do stem a bit from the fact that people can't buy houses. Like, if you think about it, like, even when you're talking about, like, people having like a vested interest in the country, it's like, well, yeah, that happens a lot. Like people, there's no non-binary people with a lawn. No, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe a couple, but
like very few people.
Well, it's a city thing. Being non-binary is just by nature of.
Yeah, but it's also it's not a homeowner thing. I think a lot of people that kind of want to tear it down. Maybe it's like, well, yeah, people don't want to tear it down when they own property.
I think
so. It's like they have an invested interest by buying a home. So it's like it becomes BlackRock's country, which leaves these people to. Go in insane ways or whatever.
Yeah, I think if you're non-binary, you buy a house. Like if you're a non-binary chick, you buy a house. In 2 years, you're just a lesbian in overalls.
Sure. Yes.
Working on the house.
Yeah. Exactly.
You regress.
But you're not exploring your gender identity. You're exploring Home Depot's.
Yeah. Well, not mine is more like a commune type.
Home Depot's manure section.
Yeah. No, that's true. I mean, yeah, the home ownership is obviously difficult.
There's not very many Disney adults that own a home, if that's fair to say.
No, unless yeah, but I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna fix it.
I got one more.
Yeah, go ahead.
They don't need a safe space. They have a safe space. It's called their pantry. That's where they keep the holos.
See, any city people know you don't even have a pantry.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And that's probably
What's the space for a pantry?
no one's in the closet when they have a pantry.
A lot of people watching this, they live in like just normal cities. And they're like, yeah, I walk in pantry.
No one's in the closet when they have a walk-in closet. No, I guess there's gay people probably.
Sure.
But as far as like millennials and Gen Z that are on some wild shit, they probably if they were able to like buy a home easier, they probably on some that would be just a phase in their life that they were in. Like the bell, like they used to be in the bell. Like the guys used to have the fishes, and now that guy is worrying about. Setting up his horseshoe course in the backyard.
There's gonna be some dad in 2060. He's like, kids these days, it's like, you used to be non-binary. You didn't believe in gender.
Exactly. You were a woman for 9 years.
Yeah, for 9 years.
You lived life as a woman for 9 years.
I guess the 80s people had the androgynous thing, which is kind of similar.
Yeah, 80s got a little fruity.
The Bowie, like, androgynous stuff.
The rock and roll.
They weren't saying, they were never saying genetics. They're like, I'm just a weird guy.
Yeah. No, there was the big comedian that said he was like, but he said he was a cross-dresser.
Eddie Izzard.
Yeah,
he was a cross-dresser because I think it was hard to be come out as just trans, because now he's like, I'm trans. But forever he's like, oh, I'm just a cross-dresser, and then he just started performing as a cross. Like,
if you're like the transsexual comedian or whatever, and trans becomes popular, it's obviously a no-brainer that you can take that one final step.
Yeah, for sure. But now he's saying he is trans. He's like, I was always trans. It was just hard to.
So
I think that's
I'm sure he would say that, yeah. But anyways, I do think that there would if the fact that like BlackRock owns every property and increasingly so, probably if you're gonna have a place with like what you would call individual liberty and individualism, it's like, well, for people that care, they need to like own a bit of that property.
Yeah, it is interesting. Neither party's platform has involves getting like affordable housing for people. Like nobody's platform has like, here's how we're going to make it able for you to buy a home.
Yeah, that's, you're saying it's just not really like talked about, period.
But it seems like it's a pretty big issue.
I think they just accepted that none of you guys don't own homes. That's what happened.
You'll own nothing and you'll be happy.
You're getting bugs.
Yeah, just bugs. And yeah, it is weird though, because you think some of that would be like a big point where like people would be pretty receptive to that, saying like, hey, how can I one day own a home? Neither party's like not touching that.
Not with a 10-foot pole.
I think I saw something about they were looking at changing like the mortgage structure here, where they're gonna like extend the mortgages or something like amortize them over longer periods, so that it's
smaller payments,
but you pay way more interest. But I guess it is a way to make it more.
Well, it's a mental thing I think people have of owning a home,
Well,
mortgage. Yeah, the banks own your home. It's just another form of rent. And that's what people don't talk about. Is like. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I bought my home for what? Shit, about 60K? 15 years ago. Now it's worth over about, probably over $500,000. And that's some fucking ROI, motherfuckers. So yeah, I mean, we had a settler culture. We got to get back to settler culture. Maybe America's full or whatever, but you know what I mean. Like, squatting. Get back to squatting. If you find an empty house, fucking take it. You know what I mean? What are they gonna do? Bring back squatting. #squats. Do it, dudes. This is a lawless place. Fucking squatters' rights. I mean, if there are squats, I'm sure there are. You know what I mean? Like, just fucking find some of those fucking shop fronts that are empty and fucking do it. You know what I mean? Like, and what the fuck? If it starts a scene with the police, all the better. Just make it fucking street art, street poetry.
Oh, I mean, you need to put a down payment on it. Some people are like, I'm never going to have $100,000 sitting around to buy a house.
Right, but they could have 15 grand
or whatever. But I mean, yeah, to get the down payment even is a big obstacle for a lot of people. So.
Okay, I have to bring this up because Jada Pinkett Smith, and you know me, have a love-hate relationship with Will Smith. Me hate Will, me love Will.
Yeah.
Because I do, He's a battered man. I kind of feel like, you know how Trump does the thing where I was saying he tells people he hates them, but then he becomes friends with them.
Yeah.
Maybe I have that a bit with Will Smith, where it's like just it's some tough love.
Yeah.
I saw a clip with Sandler. He went on Rogan, and Sandler was talking about Will Smith, and it was bumming him out.
Well, yeah, I mean, making fun of a dude getting cucked, that's harsh, dude. That's fucking harsh. So, yeah, we got fucking piled on.
It is so funny though that because I listened to probably the first hour of it. No matter who's on any podcast, once they just start talking about comedy, I'm like, that's boring.
Yeah, a little bit.
Remember that spot? He goes, "Oh, that was great." So remember this guy?
I think it's cool that it's.
It is cool.
He doesn't do a ton of interviews, so I think it's like whatever Sandler wants to talk about. I'll find to maybe listen to it, but I haven't yet. But I just saw the clip.
Yeah.
But the Sandman's the fucking goat.
Yeah,
but, so Jada Pinkett Smith has reportedly issued an ultimatum to Will Smith to start acting like a real man. Now, Will Smith's friendship with Johnny Depp is reportedly causing friction at home with his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith.
Oh, because he was having a big orgy on a yacht with Johnny Depp.
Will Smith,
I'd imagine would be the problem.
And by the way,
is that the problem?
Yes.
Was it an orgy though, or was it just two boys hanging out?
I would imagine he's probably getting it in.
Oh, you think so? I figured it was. I thought it was just straight up just boys hanging out.
Will Smith has his new pal Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Will Smith is on. He's acting like a Miami man again. He's going back to his roots.
Yeah.
He's a Miami rich guy. At 55 years old, with a couple of young 22-year-olds on the boat. Mm-hmm. Him and Johnny Depp. Yeah. Johnny Depp's fucking teeth are falling out.
Yeah. That's not doing great.
Johnny Depp's teeth are falling out. The girl's. He's got so many bracelets he can barely lift his arm up now. But
yeah.
It's fine.
It's fine.
That's what he's doing. He's going back. They have money, and he's like a rich guy with girls on the yacht. Now, I understand that you might say, I don't want my husband being a fucking rich guy on the yacht. You did a press tour about the guys that you've been fucking with on the yacht. Made the guy a national. You fucked the guy's brain so much. He's fighting people at the Oscars. This guy, his brain got messed up. You see the way he's laughing now? He's a shell of a man. He goes, oh.
See, I read this. I didn't even see it.
She says,
as chicks on the boat. I just was like. Just two boys saying, I think he's like, hey, I just want to go play a round of golf with Martin Lawrence. She's writing some big think piece about it, being like, oh, he wants to get away from me. Like, just want to go play fucking golf with my buddy.
I can understand why you could see it that way, but that's not what's happening. Okay. She says it's going all these parties and blah, blah, blah. Like, Johnny Depp has a party boy lifestyle, and Will Smith and him have started a new, friendship where they're party friends, essentially. Okay. And the thing is, she's saying, like, this guy's a married man out here gallivanting around with Johnny Depp, and it was like, oh, he's embarrassing you. Am I taking crazy pills here?
You are. Again, you're talking about a man who is emotionally abused by his wife.
He's a 100,000.
He's a battered man, so then when he goes and does the same thing she does.
And not even as bad.
Not even
he's not writing an article about, why I needed to fuck all these chicks for my marriage. Like, he's not going on the whatever podcast and talking about all his
He's
pills.
playing fucking canasta in the galley with Johnny Depp. Plays the two of them and a couple fucking deckhands.
Johnny Depp showing him his new,
his putt. They're putting into a fucking cup.
They're putting into a cup in the back room.
Yeah, in the back room.
And all these girls are just helping themselves in their liquor cabinet.
Exactly. You're like, these guys aren't as cool as we thought.
These girls are texting their actual boyfriends.
You're like, oh, he goes, it's all right. They're putting into a cup again.
Johnny Depp showing her his orthopedic pillow he just bought. But his bride, Johnny Depp's probably a little bit being like, do you guys want to pour some champagne on yourselves? Gets a bottle of champagne.
I can't open it. I have arthritis. Bit of a claw situation. But
he bought the thing. He just wasn't able to shake it hard enough, so it sort of drills out. He dumps a bottle of champagne on her head.
He pours it into a pitcher. That's one moment, please.
Johnny Depp has borderline personality disorder, apparently. It makes sense. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, fuck, obviously Will Smith has to go through a period of renewal to find his center again, and I hope and pray that he does, what that fucking monster did to him, completely cucking him, completely disrespecting him, even though he was, what the fuck was Jada Pinkett Smith in? Jada Pinkett, whatever. She had a couple of moments, but nothing, I don't know. And totally fucking femasculating fucking these kids.
Not what I used to be.
Johnny Depp's walking around the boat telling girls to put their coaster down.
That's a mahogany table that'll leave a ring.
He's an old man, right?
Getting up there.
Yeah, Johnny Depp's definitely walking around. Coasters being like, just
new table.
Yeah, he's showing Will Smith that he has a new pinball machine in the back, stuff like that. But anyways, it's like, yeah, you went on a press tour talking about how you banged your son's friend.
Yeah.
Whatever this guy
I
does.
bet she probably even holds the Chris Rock thing against him. She probably like when they get into it.
I can't believe you did that. You're such an angry man.
You say, you see your anger's coming out just like when you slap Chris Rock. He goes, I did that for you.
I know.
You embarrass us then, you're embarrassing us now.
Good for him. Good for Will, being a rich guy on a boat.
Damn, you just can't get away from him.
Jada has been totally there for him, so she's furious. He's flaunting his hangouts with Johnny Depp and totally acting single. Been there for him, she says.
Mm-hmm.
Been there for him.
I guess part of their arrangement is not hanging out on a boat with Johnny Depp.
Well, I think the arrangement went down the fucking tube, but I think the slap reset everything for them.
0-0.
He probably had a little bit where she was doing a press tour where he was like, I have free reign now, and then the slap sort of reset everything where he was like, yeah, but you did that. He was like, do I have to point to the sign? Remember the slap? Despite Jada's frustrations, it seems Will is fully embracing his friendship with Depp. The Pirates of the Caribbean actor has been taking Will on wild boys' nights, introducing him to new friends, involving him in his band's activities. So Will Smith's playing a fucking cowbell with the band.
Band activities.
Band. You know I hear band activities. Will Smith's joining a band. Man, Jada, I'm practicing with my band. He's playing tambourine.
She's like, you won a Grammy.
The fact that Will Smith is going on tour with Johnny Depp's band. The guy's having a midlife crisis. And I have no problem with that. Exactly. But I saved the sentence for last. That really made me freaking, I'll tell you, man.
Blood pressure's rising.
It almost made me walk over to the news.com and I just show up at the front door and I go, I will demand a retraction. Because they said he's making her look like a total fool. The nerve of these people, I tell you.
Fucking nerve. And probably her PR person fed them this story.
You're forgetting on top of this.
Like this story exists. How does this get out? It's because her PR person's like, hey, put this out there that he's hanging out with Johnny Depp and embarrassing him. It wasn't even an organic story.
Jada Pinkett.
Fucking the machine is
Jada Pinkett, bitch, man. Yeah, definitely that's her. She's 1,000% feeding this to TMZ. Like, Will Smith's acting like he joined a band.
Dude, she's probably on the fucking other boat with like a telescopic camera. Some fucking disguise with a bald ass head.
Will Smith switches into his boat shoes and he's going to take the orthotics out of the. He's going to switch the orthotics into the other shoes.
Bad bunions.
Despite her frustrations, it seems Will is truly embracing the friendship. Anyways, this
big story is man has friend, wife upset.
Exactly.
Newsflash.
And obviously he's a boat guy. He's the Pirates of the Caribbean. Okay, here we go. This is the best article. Underconsumption core is going viral on TikTok. Here's why Gen Z can't get enough. And
I'm very in favor of this trend.
Well, I'll just say this thing. Underconsumption core is the new viral trend on TikTok that encourages consumers to be a little less spend happy and more conscientious about what they bring into their homes. So they've decided that not spending thousands of dollars always and end up broke.
Yeah.
But the fact that women, like I was saying with my Republican thing, if you want women to do something, you need to have a viral trend.
Yes.
Which is, there's no consistent law more than that.
No, China's trying to destroy this country though, huh? They're just be like, how do we make their GDP go down? How do younger women stop consuming?
Women have like a brainwave where they're like, maybe I don't need to spend $8,000 on a purse.
Yeah, you know what the devastation to the economy if every woman in concert decides to just cut their spending in half?
This is Coach doesn't like this trend.
Red lines.
I definitely could see guys behind this being like, oh, then don't spend $20 on Starbucks trend.
Right.
Come on.
Like that trend. Don't buy a drink every time you leave the fucking house.
Ladies, we're going to start a only buying beers and not expensive margaritas trend. Oh, here we go. Ladies, this new thing where we want to do, and every girl's doing it, so you got to get on board.
Every girl's doing it, yeah.
Choosing what you want to eat within 20 seconds.
Whoa! Trend. Here, I raise you one further. Check the menu before you even get there and know what you want.
The knowing what you want trend.
Know what you want before you arrive.
The decisiveness trend is going viral.
So basically, that's amazing. Basically, what's happening now is like etiquette school. It's so cool. I'm so happy. Turning these people into ladies again, you know? It's really cool.
I like the decisiveness.
Decisiveness trend.
Yes.
I mean, this is...
Or just order what you're actually going to eat.
Or stick with your own meal trend.
Oh, touch my fucking fries trend.
Oh, let's get you on TikTok if you don't touch eating your own meal trend.
You said you didn't want any of this trend, and now you're eating it.
so funny that they realize you're not going to waste all their money on like $5,000 bags and they need a trend to do it. You have to, but you have to get the girls to be like, they love community, right? So you have to be like, everyone's doing it. Yeah, look at us, we're not spending. Woo!
Of course, I'm a bunch of sheep, so.
I mean, it's girls, a trend to a girl is the equivalent of chanting their name to a guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like an arena chanting your name.
It's the equivalent. I bet you can't chug this beer, and you're like, I don't want to chug a beer. Danny, Dan.
People have spoken.
Or you count down 10.
What's going on?
So I think that's the equivalent. If you give a girl a trend of something, you're like, everyone's doing this, and they're like, oh my, maybe I don't need a man mocha frappa.
Yeah.
A cappuccino, alpuccino, frappuccino. The legendary joke of all time. Cappuccino, frappuccino, alpuccino. Keep it up, only brocacino. That's why they got the trend.
Well, I second the trend.
Of course, how do you not?
Yeah.
What I choose to spend my hard-earned money on matters, and I try to be smarter about it every day. And that's what this trend is about for me. So there's also another component of this where it's all of a sudden not dad. When it's not dad's money or rich boyfriend's money. All of a sudden, there's a bit of a frugalness trend.
Yeah, little belt tightening.
Kostak, a millennial, remembers a version of underconsumption core that was simply called minimalism. So you definitely need to rebrand things because they get bored of the old one.
Yeah, minimalism is just out of favor.
Girls never really liked minimalism. It never caught on with women.
No.
Underconsumption core is definitely hitting them a little harder than
You
minimalism.
gotta add core to it because it gives that kind of millennial.
Minimalism always seemed like serial killery to girls. You go to a guy's house and there's nothing there. You know what I mean?
Really my house.
Well, for sure it was your house.
It used to be my house.
My house had a bit of that, but I had a piano and a bit of electric
I
drums.
didn't have nothing, but I just didn't have any sort of ornaments and whatnot.
I could see you definitely having that. Yeah. You just had an empty house with one cabinet full of baseball cards.
Just a couch, 2 plates. Is this minimalism? I think so.
I guess so.
I think that's what I'm doing.
Yes, I'm doing minimalism.
You have more than one fork? I'm a minimalist.
It's definitely,
We share the fork.
We have one fork. Yeah, we put it in the middle, whoever's using it at the time. But they go, the reason for this, in their opinion, is because of inflation. So they basically said that, the economy's bad, inflation, so we want to do this underconsumption core trend. So wait till girls find out that you can still not waste money on stupid shit even after inflation's over. That's what's really going to blow their mind.
That'll blow their mind. Yeah, once prices come down.
Once prices come down, you don't have to stop the underconsumption core. But that's what you guys have to be. There needs to be like a union of men that are in a room always thinking of like a new version of a trend to get girls to trick women.
Hot new trend. We need a new couch and we're going to buy it on Facebook Marketplace or pick it up off the curb. It's a hot new trend.
Exactly, yeah. The secondhand jacket trend.
This is a trend. I don't know.
I wish I knew. I don't understand TikTok the same way you, but everyone is doing it right now.
Trend. Yeah, I guess you're old. Just listen to them. I guess you're kind of old. You don't get this.
No, you probably don't get this. You're old. So you like to spend. You're one of those older people.
You're on Facebook. With your Facebook friends.
Oh, you're
being old on Facebook.
I got you. You're a little older. Yeah, you kind of reached your twilight years. You don't really understand the TikTok trends and not spending that much on a jacket.
It's fine. Let's go buy you a brand new
Look,
walker.
I've got a beard.
So, obviously, we're not going to spend a lot on the walker. The Washington Post writer says that high school boys who offer girls tampons are studs because there's a lot of talk about the tampon stuff. Because I guess Tim that was his
policy.
One of his things. He had the Trudeau tampon policy.
Yeah, the tampons in the men's room.
And they go, since tampon trend is since tampon, that little tongue twister, Tim is trending. I'll point out that in high school, any boy who casually was like, oh, you got your period? I stashed a pad from the bathroom in my backpack in case one of my friends needed it. That boy would be a king stud, she wrote. That boy would be drowning in prom invites.
Yeah, I fancy myself a bit of a king stud.
Oh, what do we have?
There you go.
Tampon Dan.
Tampon Dan.
So you always carry one with you at all times?
Of course.
Well, this one that was in your ass has poo on it. It's cute. As you walk up to a girl's like, she bent over, she's like, oh, my stomach's hurting. You go, I got something. You're under the table. Not creepy at all.
No, not creepy at all.
I'm always picking.
The boys' cats.
Tell me your stomach's hurting.
Oh, my stomach's hurting.
Oh, yours has
How did you know?
So definitely you'd be a hero. And the girl's just like, thanks. It's kind of that thing, I haven't said this bit on stage, but it's like, because incel girls were always like, leave me alone. And then those incels were like, we'll never talk to you ever. And they were like, those guys need to be in jail.
Yep.
Because what girls want is good-looking rich guys to talk to them, and bad-looking ugly guys to die.
To cease to exist.
To cease to exist. Yeah, they don't want them to die. They just want them. They don't.
For the gene pool.
No, it really is. It's like we don't care where you go. It's just not. Yeah. We don't care. Where you go. You just can't stay here.
But the best girls know. The real girls know what the fuck's up. Yeah. And there's still, well, I hope there's still real girls out there.
So I think if the guy that she was
Girls
very
and
attracted to,
ladies.
I still think I can't imagine looking back at my high
Ladies
school
know,
days.
ladies
Any
know.
girl in the world thinking it was normal night.
I was in high school and like I'm getting fucking punched. Like if you have a boyfriend, I'm a dead man.
Hold on, give me the tampon back. I'm gonna do you in high school now. Okay, say that your stomach hurts.
Oh, my stomach hurts.
Well, I can't have a tampon for you. So it's $2.50, and but I can set a credit line if you'd like it. I have more in my back.
I'd like to open an account. That's why I wear these games. $2.50, 5 for 10.
Let me just grab that down my ledger.
Didn't even count it.
But I have 2 for $4 if you're interested.
Girls do the flowers.
Just a bunch of guys walking around.
That was like fucking instead of a shop pencil.
Popping the tampon in the ear.
This is every kid in Minnesota right now.
And that guy they're all dripping.
Drowning.
They're just drowning in vomit.
I'm really hoping my wife right now is like, where the fuck are my tampons?
Well, you can buy one if she needs it. How bad you need it's really the question. Oh, that's yeah. I'm interested in. Oh my god, I need a tampon. You're like, the question is how bad?
What's the blood situation? You walking around all day with your phone wrapped around your waist?
I mean, I'd hate to see you get a stain. That's going to cost a lot more than $250. Seems you can't afford not to buy it.
I don't know what you know about dry cleaning costs at the moment, but they are through the roof. It's not through the roof, it's my tampons.
Okay, so weirdly enough, the price just went up. So
it's a dynamic pricing.
The demand just went up by 1. And the supply appears to have stayed the same. And if anyone knows anything of the economy, market forces. The supply was 1 and the demand was 0. Now it appears the supply is 1. The way I see it, the demand just increased by 100%.
I'm literally like fucking throwing the janitor at 20 to just not stock up the bathrooms.
You gotta, yeah.
I just offload them like fucking the mob, like just the truck, hijacking the tampon truck.
Just walking down the street with 2 suitcases.
My locker, you know. I have
Oh, of course.
just the fucking tampon.
The guy who sells soda.
Drawers.
There's always the guy who, sold the sodas and. Okay. Boys, we're going to see you over at patreon.com/theboyscast. Every week, a new episode for all the fellas.
Sir,
where the numbers have been increasing you know what I looked at, which is cool for us? I looked at the graph of our thing.
Yep.
And it literally,
It's like the S&P 500.
yeah, it's not like it fucking, any enormous bumps, but like, our fucking Patreon growth does actually look like the S&P 500. It's just like steady fucking up since the
You know
start.
what Warren Buffett says? Do not bet against the S&P 500.
Yeah, don't.
It's a losing bet, and it goes the same for the boys.
Well, Warren Buffett's sitting there with his hands full of cash right now.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I think you maybe know something.
Yeah, I mean, he does seem like he does know something because he's sitting cash heavy right now.
250 billy. Just cash, baby. He's going to Vegas.
Yeah, kind of.
Buying it.
Well, he's banking on a big crash, is what it sounds like,
Yeah,
right?
so he just doesn't like what things cost right now.
Well, that's you're banking on it going down, obviously.
So,
Boyscast Patreon, patreon.com/theboyscast. Thank you, everybody, and we will see you next week.
Thanks, guys. So,
Major media company.
Okay, so talking about Will Smith, I wanted to show a film he made with M. Night Shyamalan and his son, whatever his name is, fucking Jaden. Fucking Jaden.
I've heard stories of Earth, a paradise, until we destroyed it.
After Earth.
This founding of the United Ranger Corps 1,000 years ago was a global military effort, an evacuation of Earth. The Rangers would lead the settlement of mankind's new home, Nova Prime. But we were not alone. The aliens released the Ursa. Monsters, bred to kill humans. Technically blind, the Ursa sees humans based on the pheromones we secrete when threatened. They literally smell our fear. Humankind was in danger of extinction, and again turned to the Rangers for the answer. And that answer came in the form of the Prime Commander Cyber Rage, the original ghost. He's believed to be so completely free of fear that to an Ursa, he is invisible. This phenomena is known as ghosting.
Okay, this is a really interesting premise. 3 days earlier, Nova Prime human settlement.
This is an arrest, cadet!
Rage. Your test scores are very impressive. In the classroom, you are an outstanding Ranger, but in the field, you collapse. I'm not advancing you. You may try again next year.
Sir, I am dedicated, have studied, and consistently display conduct becoming of a Ranger, sir. I request that the Commander reconsider his assessment, sir.
Good day.
Sir, my father's returning home tonight. I haven't seen him in... It's a very special day for our family. And I've got to be able to tell him that I'm a Ranger, sir.
You tell your father that I said welcome home. Dismissed. Right here. How were finals? How were finals?
I wasn't advanced to Ranger.
Where do we look when we speak?
I was not advanced to Ranger.
You were not advanced to Ranger.
I was not advanced to Ranger, sir.
That's all right, you're young.
Bradley Canyon's led us X faster than you did.
You weren't ready. Valen's a good man, he knows his stuff. If you were, he would have promoted you. You weren't ready.
Hurry. Go to my room.
Are you asking me or telling me?
May I go to my room, sir?
Do not! Sit down! Our last visit to Ephesus. Flying tomorrow, supervising training. And after it's completed, I'm announcing my retirement.
Retirement?
Maybe I'll work with you. Turbine Division. Together. I want my family back. I want you back.
That boy in there is trying to find you. He's a feeling boy. He's an intuitive boy. He watched you read that book with Zenji his entire life. He's reading that book now. He's reaching for you. Don't get me wrong. I respect everything you've done. had an officer. He needs a father.
Pack your bags. You're coming with me to Ephetos.
This is a really good decision. We're gonna make some good memories together. You take it easy on your father. He's a little rusty.
General Raish. I was on the plateau. Saved me and 4 others. I just came from seeing my baby girl's face for the first time. Stand me up.
That won't be necessary, Ranger.
Stand me up.
I'm reading Moby Dick.
Another book. That's great.
Our military transport will arrive at trading base on Ephetos in 7 hours.
I'm gonna grab some rack time. Recommend you do the same.
Can you read? I said, can you read?
Yes, sir.
Well, there's a sign back there. Authorized personnel only. Why didn't you read that?
What's in the cage?
I want to go easy on him, Sarge. That's the Prime Commander's son right there.
You racist kid.
What's in it?
No one see.
Go right now. Is that base presses? Send ships, drop those things.
Sir?
Taking it to Ephetos for ghost training. You want to see if you ghost? Ghosting is when you don't have a trace of feeling. Oscar's face. That's the cerebral cortex looking for an answer it doesn't have.
See? Even your brain was just screwed.
I'm filled with adrenaline right now. Whether you know it or not, your heart's beating fast. It's getting a little hard to breathe. The neurobiological system is telling it to run, but you least weak to move. It's too late anyway. Pores in the skin have already opened up, secreting an imperceptible amount of pheromones into the air. And all you can think about is when it's gonna kill you.
Chichi!
She sees her, kid.
That's no good!
Good time. Back to your seat now. Rangers, go Redcon 1.
Secure toggle!
Behind your seat is a latch suit. Put it on now. Strap in full harness.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, General.
Captain, what's the last known position of the closest asteroid storm?
Category 4 asteroid formation. 2,000 kilometers to starboard at +45 declination.
Detected graviton vibrations in the hull.
But you detected how?
Graviton buildup could be a precursor to mass expansion. That storm could be on us in minutes.
Yes, sir. Mass expansion is 1 in a million.
If we try to navigate out, the pull of our own graviton weight could set the thing off. Let's just hold course and hope I'm wrong.
Just out of interest, sir. How often are you wrong?
My wife would give a very interesting answer to that question.
Graviton constant, Christian. 800 parts per million. 650.
Well, sir, there's a first time for everything.
Turn into the match bearing.
Dad! She's a jet stick. Engines went into a rough line. We're losing her.
Travelers out of here.
Where?
The anchorage, La Silla, it's closest.
Lady, sir. Can a wormhole travel in the middle of this?
Good.
Coordinates for anchorage and La Silla locked in. No confirmation signal, sir.
Travelers now.
Sir, with that confirmation.
It's an order.
Cabin pressure dropping. Heavy damage to outer hull. Breach possible in middle cabin.
Find me something I can land on. Now!
I got something. Bearing 340 by 95. Range 86,000.
Warning, this planet has been declared unfit for human habitation. Placed under Class 1 quarantine by the Interplanetary Authority, under penalty of law. Do not attempt to land. Repeat, do not attempt to land.
It's not possible.
Computer might have defaulted back to a known demarcation point.
No. Not yet. Travelers again.
Negative, sir. This ship is going to tear apart at any moment.
Set her down.
Many, this is Hesper 2 landed on a heavy distress. We took heavy
any damage from the Astron storm without going down with Bingo Tower.
Evaluate.
Good to go.
Confirm the Ursa is contained.
The back of the ship is gone.
Rangers, count off. Rangers, count off. The cockpit is directly above us. Go.
Left rear. This is a utility compartment. Inside, there's an emergency beacon. Silver. Like a saucer. Bring it to me.
Consolidate. Inventory up. General Cypher Rage. Crash landed. 2 confirmed survivors. emergency beacon you brought me will fire a distress signal deep into space. When it is damaged. There's another one in the tail section of our ship. This is us here. It's the tail, somewhere in this area. It's approximately 100 kilometers from here. We need that beacon. You understand? Both my legs are broken, one very badly. You are going to retrieve that beacon, or we are going to die. Do you understand? Repeat what I just said.
I have to retrieve the beacon. Or we're going to die.
If filtration inhalers, you need to take one now. The fluid will coat your lungs, increasing your oxygen extraction, allowing you to breathe more comfortably in the environment. You have 6 vials. Your weight, which peak 24 hours each, that's more than enough. The life suit and backpack are equipped with digital and virtual imaging, so I will be able to see everything that you see and what you do not see. I will guide you. It'll be like I'm right there with you. Take my cutlass. It's the C40, full 22 configurations. Qatar, every single decision you make will be life or death. This is a class 1 quarantined planet. Everything on this planet has evolved to kill humans. Do you know where we are?
No, sir.
This is Earth.
Oh.
There are 3 possibilities. The first and most likely is that he died in the crash. The second and less likely is that it is injured very badly and still contained. The third and least likely is that it is out. We will proceed, however, in anticipation of the worst case scenario. Every movement will be under protocol escape and evade. If he's out there, I will see him long before he gets anywhere near you. Do you understand? Do exactly as I tell you. And we will survive. Calm down. Take a knee. Root yourself in this present moment now. Sight, sound, smell. What do you feel?
My body feels heavy.
Very good. Earth's gravitational pull is different than at home. Very good. Now let's go. What happened?
You didn't see that?
What happened?
I'm fine. No change. I just slipped. There's compensation on the stones. I'm good to go.
rage. Initiating remote probe recon. Primary target. Ursa. I want to reiterate that your Navi band is our sole means of communication.
Roger.
Temperatures on this planet fluctuate dangerously, Qatar. And most of the planet freezes over completely at night. But there are hot spots. Geothermal nodes between here and the tail that will keep you warm during the freeze-over. You must reach one of these hot spots each evening before nightfall. Is that understood?
Copy.
Standard operating procedure till I give you further instructions. Stand by.
Got you there?
Hey, Dad. Dad? You there?
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh boy, I know how this.
It's a real book from a museum. It's Moby Dick. He said I could even hold on to it.
Hold on. What?
The book, Dad. Did they really kill these whales?
Senchi, for their oil. And they almost disappeared. Just before the age of carbon fuels. Where's your brother?
Yeah, he's there.
Come here. Where are you?
My suit's turned black. I like it, but I think it's something bad.
Your suit is made of smart fabric. It has motion sensors. I'm tracking a life form moving toward you from the west. It's closing rapidly. 50 meters. 40. 30. 20. 10. It is right there, Qatar. Do not move. Recognize your power. This will be your creation. Stand down, cadet. Qatar! Control yourself, cadet. Qatar! Stand down!
Get away! Get away!
Qatar! To your rear, out to your rear. There's the river, 250 meters, straight ahead, go.
suit. Cadet, you are not being followed. I repeat, you are not being followed. Kitai, you are running from nothing. Kitai! Kitai, put my damn cutlass away. You are not being followed. Take a knee. Take a knee, Cadet.
You want to die today, that is fine, but you're not going to kill me. Kitai, I need you to do a physical assessment. You are showing rapid blood contamination. Are you cut?
I'm dizzy.
Kitai, self-eval.
I can't stand.
Open your med kit.
You're going to have to administer the antitoxin in sequence. Inject yourself with the clear liquid first.
Do it now.
I can't see.
The poison is affecting your nervous system. Stay even.
Please come help me. I can't see. I can't do this by myself, man. Please don't get me.
Kitai, inject yourself directly into your heart with the first stage.
Do it now.
Now the second. ASAP. To your left, Kitai. Left.
I can't feel my hands. I can't feel my hands.
Press it into the ground. Roll over on it and press it into the ground, Kitai. Great work, Cadet. But you're going to have to lie there for a moment. The parasite that stung you has a paralyzing agent in its venom. So you are going to have to lie there for a little bit while the antitoxin does its job.
It's time to wake up. Son, the temperature is dropping 5 degrees every 10 minutes. You have got to wake up.
Can you blink your eyes? Son, I need you to please blink your eyes.
Okay.
Hey,
That sucked.
that is correct. You got 9.7 kilometers to the hot spot. How about you show me that 10K in 50 minutes, Cadet?
So, yes, sir.
Lights out. All good.
Who was in this region? Who was it? Watch him go. Watch him go. Lights out.
5 mics out.
Happy 19th birthday, Senshi.
Dad, you help.
No, Senshi, you dead. You blow.
Come on. Dad, blow.
Now, you know there's no way I can actually do that from here.
No, I think you can.
Faya, you're right there. Help the girl.
You can do it. I know you can.
Front 1 arrival. 8 plus 54 minutes.
Equipment check and consolidate. Take your next inhaler. Yeah, oxygen extraction is bothering me. Take your next breathing fluid.
Second dose of breathing fluid complete.
Count off remaining.
4 hours remaining, sir.
Repeat.
Four hours remaining, sir. Dad. Dad.
I'm here.
How'd you do it? How'd your first course?
Out for a run. Alone. Something we're never supposed to do. Best of D camos. Right in front of me. I go for my cutlass. Shoots his pencil. Strapped to my shoulder. Next thing I know, we're over the cliff. Falling. 30 meters. Straight down. Into the river. We settle onto the bottom. It's on top of me. But it's not moving. And I realize he's trying to drown me. I'm thinking I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I cannot believe this is how I'm gonna die. I can see my blood bubbling up, mixing with the sunlight, shining through the water. And I think, wow, that's really pretty. Then it slows down. I see his pencil through my shoulder. And I decide I don't want that in there anymore. So I pull it out. And he lets me go. And more than that, I can tell it can't find me. Doesn't even know where to look. And it dawned on me. Fear is not real. The only place that fear can exist is in our thoughts of the future. It is a product of our imagination, causing us to fear things that do not at present and may not ever exist. That is near insanity, Qatar. Now, do not misunderstand me. Danger is very real, but fear is a choice. We are all telling ourselves a story. And that day mine changed. To the falls. That's our midway checkpoint.
Linya.
Get to the falls ASAP.
get something. I think it's water. A lot of it.
Inventory up.
Roger. Food rations half available. Flares full. Med kit half available. Breathing fluid. Breathing fluid. 4 vials available.
Why are you not showing me the case?
What?
Show it to me now.
I thought that I could make it, sir.
Abort mission. Return to the ship.
That is an order.
Don't come out. Listen, what? That's an order.
No, Dad. I can do it. I don't need many. I can get across with just 2.
You need a minimum of 3 inhalers to make it to the tail. You have exhausted your resources.
I can get across. I can do it with just 2, Dad.
This mission has reached what criteria?
I take full responsibility. You did your best.
You have nothing new to prove. Now return to the ship.
What was your mistake? Trusting me? Depending on me, thinking that I could do this?
Now I'm giving you an order. So turn around and return to this ship.
You wouldn't give any other ranger that order.
You are not a ranger. And I'm giving you that order.
What was I supposed to do? What did you want me to do? She gave me an order. She said no matter what, don't come out of that box. Was I supposed to just come out and die?
What do you think, Cadet? What do you think you should have done? Because really, that is all that matters. What do you think you should have done?
And where were you? She called out for you. She called your name. And you weren't there because you never did. And you think I'm a coward? You're wrong. I'm not a coward. You're a coward. I'm not a coward.
Kitai! Kitai, you've got incoming. Do you copy? You've got incoming. Kitai, dive! Dive! Kitai!
I'm sorry, say hi.
Where's my son? General Zaporage. This is a message from my wife. But yeah, I have lost contact with our son. End message. You have 6 phones. Your weight should be 20 to 24 hours each. That's more than enough. I still need 4 days to reach the camp. Great with intersections. You have 6 hours to reach the first jail homicide. First leg from the cave to the mouth of the mud forest. I'm right here. Keep moving. Take your next inhaler. There is an escarpment. Looks like it could be a waterfall. We will call that out midway. 14 kilometers. This is us here. Back. It's the tail. You're going to retrieve that beacon. Or we are going to die.
Leave me alone!
Okay, we need a commercial break. Or a music break. Hey. Keep it on that Miami tip.
Wake up. It's time for you to wake up.
I was just about to come out that day.
No, you weren't. But you did the right thing.
Dad says I should have tried.
He's just mad at himself. That's all.
Yes, new Marilyn Manson. Yes. Fuck yeah.
Top seat table is ready. Pay off the drug deals you made with God. A last meal in your crucifixion. If you're not paranoid, it's probably too late. I don't give a fuck if you say you're sorry. I won't accept your surrender. I don't give a fuck if you say you're sorry. I won't accept your surrender. It's time to be on the bullets and watch the balls out.
Raise the red flag.
Pretending in a room full of fakes. Something made up already, it's too praise. Losers love liars till the dying day. Losers love liars till the dying day. I don't give a fuck if you say you're sorry. I won't accept your surrender. I don't give a fuck if you say you're sorry. I won't accept your surrender. Time to be on the bullets and watch the balls out. Red flag is your white one, something more. Red flag is your white one, something more.
To all the holy places that the British people keep being attacked.
Man, shit is fucking crashing like hard. I'm fuck. Fuck. I'm getting the wheel of death. Wheel of death. There we go. Fucking wheel of death. Jeez Louise. Come on, guy. Okay. Fuck it. Okay, oh god. This motherfucker's about to blow up. Nah, my computer needs a hard reset. Fuck. Okay, be back in